Quick swapping to central.
Lord.
Who's the case bird now?
Why is it always like that?
Okay, we're back, guys. We're back. We're alive again. My internet blew up. I guess the Chanli mains have got to me. That's probably what happened, right? The second they heard us, you know, talking about her and not putting her in S tier, and talking about her massive hitboxes and personality, you know, boom, we go offline. Well, we're back now. So hopefully it's more stable now, surely. Okay.
This internet connection sure was crosscut severed. Who's the case right now?
We accidentally quick swapped out of the stream. But now we're back, okay. No swapping, it's a casual tier list, right? Okay, anyways, I think some people went AFK a bit, so we'll wait a bit before we continue, I guess.
Well, I'll say my piece. Changli A tier.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
fair.
put it right here.
A tier, yeah, you want to put her in
I
A
think
tier?
A tier.
You know, people are gonna get upset. They're gonna say, but you put Yinlin on B tier. How come Chanli is A tier?
Okay.
I mean, she actually does damage. That's the difference.
This is resembling
Yeah,
the
exactly. Almost
too
feels
much.
double the damage Yinlin does.
If we're gonna argue no swaps, technically intro skills count as swapping.
I mean, no, we're not saying like no swaps. We're just saying like minimal swaps, right?
I mean,
No
that's
swaps.
we're not doing a
Solo
solo
Dante.
tier list.
Solo
Dante as
Dante.
a tier, and then everyone else at the bottom.
And then Jinchi is at the super bottom.
Yeah.
Yikes! The actual zero swap solo co-op tier list. Guys, imagine a co-op tier list.
Yo, that would be a banger.
No, that would be so bad. It would be so cursed.
Alright, well, I'm happy with the Changli placement. I
Okay.
feel like this is fair.
Okay, so we'll move on now to
Changli OS.
to actually hang on. Do you guys want to put her above or below Murdafi?
I think below is fine.
Below, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Madiba, you're still gone. You're still vanished.
I know, it's like
what's up? Go back.
I think she should still go above, like, again, because of that random bullshit point I made. Like, you can just do random shit with her and she'll be able
But
to
you can
play
do random shit with
another
motive
competent
too,
case.
right? So at that point, how much of a random shit are we taking into consideration?
I mean, yeah, but it's like with Motefi, it's that he's buffing the other character. With Changli, it's that she's doing damage. And if you're doing
then-
things randomly, then you'd rather have more damage on everyone than.
Madiba, we
But it's
already
also
discussed
a
this in
more
terms of what
effective,
kind of
right?
swaps we're doing. We're only doing the most important ones on Changli. That would mean you're just introing into her and outroing. Once you do her last forte, that's it.
Well, okay, let's move on to Judge next.
That's very easy, to be honest.
I think she's like as for a casual standpoint, I think at least high A/low S is where I'm feeling.
Yeah, I would
She's
agree
us.
with that simply because she's like in Carlotta's best team and also really good with Jinxie, and that's two like really high tier characters who she is the best in slots for. So it's really hard to put her like anywhere below A, I would say. But I would say either high A or low S.
I think like
I would argue low
I
S.
think S. Like
Yeah,
just,
low S is fine. Yeah.
just being the best in slot with Carlotta and Jinchi is just so powerful.
Yeah,
and also
for sure.
just because her competition for skill damage amplification is Lumi and Tao Chi, it's like
Yeah,
Come
it's
The competition is crazy.
Yeah, she's beating up on the little kids at the dojo, basically.
Bro, she's going to the playground and setting off a C4.
Yeah, but pretty much.
Okay, next
Alright,
on the
moving
list
on.
is everyone's favorite free dude, Shan Li Yao.
Yo, oh, I like this guy.
Yay.
Yeah, I would say he's probably the most like beginner friendly DPS with
True.
like his interruption resistance, big AoE, grouping and ultimate, huge nuke damage,
Slows
really
down
easy to
enemies,
play.
too.
Yeah, I would say he goes like right next to Verena.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
I think it's like between GN and Jinchi, if you ask me.
I think it's better.
The
than
thing for
Jinchi.
me is that
Yeah,
like
I think for casuals he's way better than both of those characters.
yeah.
Mm,
Like the thing
Kinda.
for me again is that like I said before, he's really easy to play, but he's also really hard to it's really hard to play him wrong because his ult is
Yeah.
24 seconds long, so you can spend all the time you want just dodge countering or waiting for his skill
Yeah,
so that you can
exactly.
use it all 3 times.
unless
His
Yinlin.
ult has grouping for some reason. He stops time on enemies. He just
Let me
like,
ask you a
if-
question. Is there any margin of error on Zhang Liao?
Yes, actually.
There
if you're
isn't.
if you're playing with Yinlin, you can miss the outer skill buff on the third law of range.
Well, yeah, actually, but that's more of a knock towards Yenlin than than Rancho.
Yeah.
I feel like having a bad teammate should be a debuff.
You'd think, but he also has Chun-Li, so it's fine.
I mean that's
Yeah.
true, but it's like we're
It's all
assuming
Charu.
casual, so it's like, but we're assuming
Yeah, yeah,
casual.
yeah.
So like, I
Yeah.
feel like we kind of have to put him in that Yinlin or Yang Yang box in this tier list.
Okay, like you
Uh,
said that the
no.
lore can be missed, okay? But like, can we not just say, okay, let them just miss the lore, like without the buff?
You know
like,
what?
is that
That's
really such a
true.
tragic?
Yeah, that's actually
outcome?
true. That's not really
Like
that
it's
big
not
of a
it's not a huge damage loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, someone said, what if I accidentally alt F4 when playing with Shang Liao? My answer is, you'll probably
True.
still clear anyway.
True.
You have 24 seconds to log back in.
My man's is brain damage incarnate, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll leave him where he is then, which is between Jinchi and Jian.
I would
I feel
say
like-
above.
Or you want to
above
put him above
Jinchi.
Jinchi.
Above
Yeah,
Jinchi
I would
can
say
be
so.
argued.
Above
Yeah.
Jinchi.
It can be,
Okay.
I wouldn't object to it. It can be very easily argued, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, Shorekeeper, let's just get that out. Let's just get it out of the way, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I think
just move on,
Carlotta
just move on.
Carlotta tier needs to be renamed. At this
Yeah,
point.
so goodbye, Carlotta. It's here.
I
She's
think
not
we should
sure.
get-
No, it's so
I think-
great. For the
No,
company-
honestly, no. Like, I don't think Showkeeper even goes with Carlotta. She's kind of okay. Okay. Before I used to just call Verena like Showkeeper and Verena like the same character, except Showkeeper makes up for being slower by having slightly more buffs. But even then, for some casual players, those more buffs will make up for playing badly enough that you have the same clear time with either Showkeeper or Verena.
Yeah, I
I
think those
just
buffs are
feel like
really
Showkeeper
really
just
huge.
adds above Verena. That's it. I just feel like she's there. She's not.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
I
either
think she's way
here or
better.
over here, you know.
I
One
feel like
of
a
the
lot
two.
of all the tier. You know what I mean?
I feel like SK,
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I do tower, Shorekeeper is just that universal constant that no matter what you do, no matter what I do, I just cannot get rid of her. She is
Yeah.
eternal. When
Yeah.
Big overtime.
Bro, when Kuro themselves during the dev live stream said we can finally give Verena some time off, when is Shorekeeper getting her time off, man?
Never.
Yeah, that's
For that.
true. So, like, I have an interesting opinion.
It's past glory,
Because-
please. I need it. I just need it.
Because recently, like, I had the displeasure of using Verena again. Then I realized, oh my god, if I see one more non-crit in my runs, I will actually become suicidal. So she is actually, like, not only a good character, but she actually saves your mental health from the non-crits. But
Also,
aside
you
of
have-
that, I have an argument that just, like, I think she belongs at the top of S for one reason, which is
The
I
dodge
don't
counter.
think she's that easy. I just don't think she's that easy. like yeah, you can just like spam basic attacks, true, but I think just spamming basic attacks
It's really soft.
really like slows her down to the point where I would just argue better than Verena, but not such a large margin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because between the staying away from basic attack 3 to 4 like the plague, is what you're supposed to do. But a casual player might just do the whole stream, And it's
I feel like if we're gonna argue based on things like that, if we're gonna argue based on stuff like that, I feel like trying to figure out Carlotta's rotation in the first place, like trying to get through that learning curve, can be an argument.
Well, it's less of like figuring out what you're supposed to actually have. I can see how you're coming from the same branch, right? Like knowing what stuff to do.
I mean, it's flimsy, but it's like I feel like doing Shorekeeper, Beefy, and then animation canceling. Like I feel like that's not a very hard thing to do.
Same.
But that kind of opens up like other characters we have ranked.
No, because Shorekeeper's window for canceling that is very, very, very generous.
It's literally like I want to say it's a longer than 1 second window to cancel the animation.
You have like a 2-second window, yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
But is Shangli's True Side Charge or True Side Conquest not easy to swap, cancel, or quick swap? It's like literally just BA and then swap to another character. It's just 2 buttons, right? So
Okay, but like there's a difference. There's a difference between a swap cancel and an animation cancel. An animation cancel, you're staying on the same character. Shangli, you're considering swapping out.
Yeah, but ultimately it's just a button. It's both are buttons, right? That you are pressing. Like, what's the difference between the model?
The difference is you're pressing buttons on another character actually, instead of just one.
I don't get that. Like,
No, I understand where Cam is coming from, but I also see the other point of view where like a swap cancel is like more big brained. And the reason it is more big brained is because you have to think about what to do on the other character after that.
Yes, that's
So
my point. My point.
For casuals, that will not be like as easy as just staying on the same character.
And it has to be like a productive swap, right? Because let's say someone new to quick swap wants to say, okay, let me swap out over here, but then they want to go back there, but now you have to figure out 1 second of stuff to do before going back there,
Yeah.
Some people might just do one attack and then smash the button and wait for the 1 second cooldown, and it actually kind of totally kills the point of swapping in the first place.
At that point, okay, so are we not considering Inland's cancels then? Because if we are considering a single character cancel, Inland should be higher above, right? Because she can do the skill lib heavy skill cancel.
I mean, that's a lot more cancels though than what I'm proposing here.
I think now we are going towards like a very subjective opinion on like what casuals can do and not do. We are saying, okay, a casual cannot do inland cancels, but casual can do Shorekeeper cancels. So I don't know actually.
I'm just saying. Oh, go ahead.
Let's just consider Shorekeeper like without that tech at all. I feel like it really doesn't change much the replacement in that.
Yeah, even if you do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just tell them to mash left click until bar full, and then forte, and then mash left click. It still probably works out pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it does.
Also, Maygi, you forgot to rename Kalala Tier Pack to its old Days of Glory.
True. Okay.
I got 2 more minutes in me, boys.
Okay, let's try to finish. Let's wrap this up. Okay, Yohu. Extremely niche, not even good in her niche. Also, very long rotation. And,
this character is garbage. Put her in D tier.
D tier. Yep.
I even argue Z tier, but
You can, yeah.
I'm putting her below Yuanwu. Actually, that pretty much puts her in Z tier. Well, she has. Yeah. Okay. She's.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Camellia.
I'd say Camellia S tier.
Take it away on Camellia.
Camellia S tier, like she has some flaws, but I feel like she makes up for them. She just has good damage, is easy to use. Like I feel like Camellia S tier makes sense.
Okay, but where in S tier? That's the question.
Sure.
S tier is so populated.
Yeah, so S tier is a whole tier list of its own.
Welcome to limited 5 stars in WooWa, baby.
True.
Somewhere in the middle of S tier, I would say.
Yeah, I would say somewhere around GN, either above or below GN.
Yeah,
True.
I agree. Lumi's garbage, lowest tier that's even possible. Lumi's ass.
Come on, no, she's not that garbage. She's usable. No, she has some good teams.
Honestly, Lumi, I'm okay with us putting Lumi a tier above Tauchi because Lumi at the very least has a much clearer path to Concerto than Tauchi. And her sequence at S6, she was objectively more functional than Tauchi. Even if you have to deal with the 10-second.
Her buff is shorter.
Yeah,
No,
and it doesn't really matter though,
qualities,
because
yeah.
like with basically like every other character, you have to set them up before you actually get the intro on them. And with Carlotta, it's just like what you do 1 or 2 more heavy attacks before doing an intro on her, and then you can just immediately do 40 ults and then skill 2 and then outro, and you'll still have all the deepen on her.
I have a ton of things to say about Lumi, like a ton, because I love the character. I will get this out of the way before talking about the character. I will speak on the fact that I am an absolute Lumi lover. I love this strat. She's super cute. I love her design and everything, and I think she's the worst character in the game. Let me explain. Lumi doesn't do enough damage to be usable as a main DPS. I know, Meiji, you want to make her work, and I get it. It works, question mark. Here's the thing. You have, we're doing S6 4-star here. You have Alto on the other hand, who's straight up doing more damage, and he's not even intended as a main DPS. Lumi is intended as a main DPS. Lumi has a big amplification on her outro, lasts 10 seconds instead of 14 seconds. It's skill damage amplification. Carlotta has a hard time making full use of that 10-second amplification, especially for casuals, when there's Tauchi on the other hand. So there's Tauchi for a longer amplification, who also takes a shorter amount of time. I did some casual frame data on the two. Like I said, Tauchi should be around 8 seconds. Lumi's around like 10.5, which is the longest hybrid rotation in the game if we're considering her as like a sub DPS buffer. Like I said, as a main DPS, she simply doesn't do enough damage to compete. As a result, you find Lumi being outclassed in every single role that she could have ever been put in, and she just kind of has no use. Like, you want to use a skill damage amplification character, use Tauchi. You want to use a 4-star main DPS, use like, I don't know, Donjin, use Alto even. So I just find personally that Lumi is simply the single worst character in the game, and that really pains me to say, by the way, because like I said, I love the character. So
Okay, well, I disagree. I don't think she should be considered as a main DPS at all. I'd say, of course, right now her primary use case is with Carlotta. Carlotta, you have a 22-second lockout for your rotation with the Forte cooldown. So, with that downtime, you need to have something in there. So Lumi could do a decent amount of damage, especially at S6. I remember when I did initial calcs for that team, I actually used S0 Lumi, so S6 is even better. She does decent damage, a lot more than Tauchi, and provides the same buff. Obviously, for a casual, they might not change the rotation, and you might drop the amplification on the last death knell, and maybe the end of the hit after as well. But still, I think she makes up for the difference with her own damage.
I have a very easy counter argument.
Right, though. I looked at your cogs; they really aren't that impressive. Like, you have Young and Sana on the other hand, who have super short rotation times, and Young especially, she has her energy regen that Carlotta very much takes. You get to take away some energy regen substats that you have to allocate on calculations. That brings the overall average damage a bit higher. It just, on a practical level, it just makes things easier to build too, and it's very, very easy to play. Just 1-2-3 with Young, and it's very, very good DPS, especially at S6 Young. So, you say Lumi's primarily used for Carlotta comps. I just really don't see how or why you would use her. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, I have a very easy counter argument to Lumi being the worst character in the game. Is she worse than Janshin?
Well,
like, can you really safely say that?
Yeah, like at the very least, she's got more like we're judging all of these characters at S6 as well. So at S6, Lumi at the very least is dealing more damage than Tauchi, and has an attack buff that even if you lose the deepen on her with Carlotta, she's going to still be buffing Carlotta.
But Young's a free character. Like,
we're not talking about like if they're free, right? Because remember, this is assuming all of the 4 stars are at 6 with
Yeah.
But like even still, right? You have all 4 stars at S6, and a lot of teams just use Yang. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're not even arguing to put her above like Yang. We're
Yeah.
arguing to put her like
For me,
at
Lumi
the
is
very
just
least above
outclassed.
Tauchi.
To me, she's
You're right, but
just
it's
outclassed in everything she does, right? Like,
Yeah,
let's
but
say
not
my
by
Tauchi,
everyone.
I mean,
guess,
outclass
point.
is the thing. That's why it's a tier list. You know, she could be below Yang Yang. She's outclassed by Yang Yang, but that doesn't mean she's, you know, useless. Just because there's some character that's better doesn't mean a character is useless. You know.
you can. I mean,
I
if
would
she's
argue
outclassed in
D tier.
everything she does, like I kind of don't get it.
But you're kind
Like,
of
Yang Yang
looping
hasn't really
around the
wanted
same point
much
instead
else,
of making
you
a
know?
new one.
Sorry, what'd you say, Madiba?
You're kind of looping around the same point instead of making a new one.
I
Like,
get that, but like it's just a point that to me just completely justifies replacement. Like you have no reason to level her, no reason to use her. Like remember, we're basing a tier list. Like we established like the beginning of the stream, a tier list should be indicative of what's worth investing into. I don't see an incentive to invest in Lumi, like at all.
I don't know.
I mean,
I would invest in this rat before investing in
And I'm saying
okay.
this when I love Lumi, right?
Alto, yeah.
Like I would build Lumi
Like,
before I build freaking Yuanwu. Okay, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
sure, she's cuter, but
No, but
is
like
she
in terms
really
of
worse
useful,
than
okay?
Yuan Wu
You turn
in terms of like
Yuanwu
her
into a hot
usefulness?
I'd still rather build the rat. You know.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting
I think
visions in my
it's-
head
yeah.
that I don't want to get in my head, but
I personally would say she's top of D tier, but
I'm putting her at bottom of C. Bottom of C, top of D.
Yeah, I
my
agree with
my
both of
piece
you.
on this is middle Z.
No, what do you mean middle Z? Worse than
No.
Genshi? Nah. She's okay. She's going
Top Z, top Z,
bottom,
top Z.
bottom C, bottom C. I'm putting bottom C. This will be my my placement for her.
Sure, it's your tier list.
This
after
is
all.
this
You
is
know
my
what?
this is my placement for her.
holy
You
bias.
rule the world, mate. You rule the world.
Yeah, rat's good. Rat's cat's good. Okay, anyways, let's move on to Arosha.
But
All right.
Are we
Here we
taking
go.
full value into account? Are
No,
we
no.
taking full value into account?
No, not pole value. Just like as a unit. Let's say all these units
S
are in a
tier.
box. Wow. Okay,
S
that was
tier.
easy. But
Like,
no,
it's
but
so
that's
easy,
the
S
okay.
tier.
So we're in S tier. Okay.
Uh,
bottom.
I'm
Bottom,
saying
yeah.
near
Below Jaja for
below
sure.
below Jaja.
Below
So
Jaja for
at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Fabi.
Our last S tier character.
Yeah.
Are we thinking
Yeah.
below or above Zhengliao, guys?
I'm thinking.
this
I'm
might be hot
thinking
take.
even below.
Okay, Saki, go on.
Below Zhang Liao, just because you have to play her with S-Robe.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I want to put her below Jinchi as well.
Yeah, I would put her below
Huh?
Gian even.
Me personally, I'd argue below Camellia.
Yeah, I would
Because
say
it
below,
feels
below
weird
Camellia
to
is
say
fine
that
too.
that Phoebe's better than Camellia. Like, am I insane
Like,
for saying
okay.
that?
Y'all
I
are
have
being
a really
harsh.
good
Phoebe's
explanation.
Really easy to play. We put Jinchi here because she's stupidly easy to play. Like Phoebe's damage is not something to be ignored. Really
I-
not.
Yeah.
Actually,
I have a really good
one thing.
explanation.
No, go
So-
ahead, and then I'll comment on it.
Yeah, sure. So like we're assuming 1, 2, 3 rotation. So I'm actually imagining someone like that actually just sits there on S Rover and tries to get the
Okay.
full concerto bar full,
Okay.
and, like
Fine.
auto attacking, like running after the enemy,
Fine.
missing every heavy attack, and just like standing there like a dumbass, and then just
Fine.
wondering why they're clearing in under 2 minutes. Like
Yeah,
Fine.
that's one angle to consider, and the other is that even though she's like she has really good hitboxes, if you do 1, 2, 3 rotation and your frazzle happens to run out while you're still on Phoebe, she's not gonna be doing much damage with the last heavy attacks. So, it's a bit rough to say. I would
I'm
say
seeing
put her
someone
below
saying
Camellia for
the
sure.
tier list ignores Whimpering Waves. Yes, it's a tier weight tier
Yeah,
list.
this is
We're gonna
tier weight
consider Whimpering
weight
Waves
list.
later. We're considering it later. It's coming later.
Okay, so here is our final casual tier list for TLA. Everyone agrees with everything except Lumi, which I have personally bumped up to bottom of C. I don't think she's lenient here, okay? She's definitely not.
She is.
No,
Can we
she's
at least-
not!
No, she's
Moving on.
not. She really isn't.
You're ratist,
Like-
okay? You're ratist. Okay, why don't I...
I
let me
love her,
screenshot
okay?
it.
I love her, but like I just can't. I can't.
Can we at least go around and just ask everybody's thoughts about like the placement or if they want to change anything?
Right, okay.
before we
So,
move on?
from what I've heard in the comments, I remember that Yinlin was debated. A lot of people were like, how come Yinlin's here but Chanli's here? You know, we already kind of covered that Chanli, you actually do damage with the time, you know.
No, I meant like us, like
Us as a group, not chat. Okay,
Yeah,
chat
yeah,
is
yeah.
out of this. Sorry, chat.
Yeah. Sorry, chat.
Okay, just
Like you,
let's go.
chat.
I mean, no, chat is open to give feedback as well. We're totally inviting
Yeah.
feedback. Okay.
So I actually have one adjustment. I personally think, okay, so aside of Lumia, I'll just pretend Lumia is not on this list. S Rover, like, holy fuck, the pain I have had farming Monkey. I imagine someone doing 1 to 3 rotations and trying to do like you know how the forte of S Rover fills? It's so easy to miss that.
Yeah,
but
it's,
that's the monkey.
unbelievably easy
That
to
is
miss
a
that.
monkey specific thing. Like they really did us dirty with this Theo irritation. That is literally only against the monkey's herd boxes.
Every other boss is fine?
Yeah, it literally works fine on every other boss, except Morning Ikes. But you don't use S Rover against Morning Ikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I personally think Ezra was C, but like maybe I'm just like very frustrated personally. That
My
could
only
be.
gripe is Lumi, but I will. You know what? Maygi's the queen here. I do not go against Mr. Streamer. Mr. Streamer. I can't English to save my life. Jesus.
Some comments say there's too many themes in S and not enough themes in A. Should we demote some people?
Wuthering Waves is like that as a
It makes
game,
me
though.
sense.
I know that it's just like that. Like, you know,
Why
we have 3
is
themes below
Russia at S,
Sanhua. Even if you move these 3 to A, you know, I don't think we could ever take Sanhua out of S. That would not make sense, you know.
We could make like another tier of like S minus and then just split it off at Encore.
I don't
We
think
could
that
do
actually
that.
makes sense though, because it's like, I get why people are questioning why there's so many things in S tier, but that's just because the DPSs in this game are very well balanced.
They're actually
is pretty
extremely
well, yeah.
similar.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a funny suggestion. How about we move more Teffy to S tier 2?
People get-
Isn't he unironically
True.
like competitive with Jeji in some teams?
Or isn't he better than
No,
Russia?
no.
This is for casuals, Saki. This is for casuals.
Well, because like for casuals, if you sit on Judge and do her whole rotation, it's not too much worse. Meanwhile, Murphy, you know, if you're not getting a bunch of like basic swap-ins in, it's a relatively a good amount worse, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
But also,
Ethan,
Ken was asking.
do
Yeah,
you
sorry,
want to add
continue.
anything to the tier list? Because then I can talk about my thoughts, I guess.
All right, experienced player tier list. We're making a 1.1 character tier, and then everyone else is below.
All right. I have a few questions. One is like, why is Russia at S? Like, isn't she just good for Camellia and for casuals?
Have a cover.
But you can argue the same for Motifi and Phoebe at that point, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Rosha A
and
would
we
make
have
a
also
ton of sense to me.
established, right, that Motifi is not just for his outro, but also his buffs are insane at like a casual level.
Right.
as well.
I think
Also,
it's that we
I see
specifically
people saying we're
put-
biased because none of us are casuals. I'll have you know, I do tier crafting specifically for casuals. I'm here for that.
I mean, I also do theoretic crafting only for casual, so it's fine, right?
Yeah, Kemto, you're right. Kemto.
I mean, to everyone in chat that thinks that we're biased because they're speedrunners or theory crafters, I'll only say one thing: just you wait for the next tier list and see how different that one looks.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
all-
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all I have to say.
Stay for a ride.
Okay.
That's gonna be the true bias.
If you think we argued here, oh boy, I have something for you.
Also, as somebody who has played Lingang a lot, I think 1, 2, 3 rotations work fairly well for him. I mean, I don't know if he should be below Lumi in the tier list because he has access to a free team. He can do
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 rotations very well.
I do
And
think
he
he
has
should be
damage.
Shishia, Ling Yang.
I mean, if Lumi is C, then Ling Yang should
Okay.
also be C.
Fair. Okay, here's the revised one. I've moved Rosha down to A. I've moved Mingyan up to C.
Phoebe can
Wait, I was
be
gonna
this low,
say
chat.
earlier,
It's
though.
fine. She can be this low. It's fine. He's
Wait,
us
I was
here,
gonna say
guys.
the thing about Rocha is that like she's basically doing what Sunhwa does, but with a little bit more damage and with grouping. And because we're not considering pull value necessarily, I like that's why we had originally put her in S tier. So I don't see why we would put her down a tier.
Okay, so what is going to happen is then I can argue that Motivi should also be there, right?
I feel like Rocha and Motifi are
Yeah.
same tier, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's why they wrote A. High A.
Yeah, I do think that Sanhua and Mortefi should be like very close to each other. Like I agree with Kem on this one.
Some people are asking why is Sanhua S and Rosha A. Okay, come on, guys. Come on. What?
Guys, why is Kalala in the separate tier? This makes no sense.
But to reiterate, okay, for Sanhua, her so for Rosha, if you just like sit on her for her entire rotation, it's like twice as long as Sanhua's rotation. Okay, that's kind of a big deal.
People consider Sanhua, I feel like, too much as like exclusively a Camellia support. She does infinitely more than that. Like, chat, come on. Sanhua is not just there for Camellia. She's there for Encore, first of all. She can be there for Phoebe. She's there for pretty much anyone who needs like a support with like a low field time and doesn't have other options.
She even works in comps where you don't care for the basic attack, just as an outro buff and 20% attack from
Exactly,
F6, you know? You could just use her just because she will give you some decent damage, extremely fast, does not interrupt anything else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but you know, you just described Mortefi, except he doesn't even need an outro. That's why I'm saying they should be, you know.
Yeah,
closer
that's what I
together.
was thinking. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they're close enough, okay? They're close enough.
I feel like people forget Encore Sanhua too much. Like, guys, the comp is right there. They're right next to each other, you know? They're very strong together.
Okay, anyways, I think that's... Okay, here, let me save this. This is the new updated casual tier list. Casual tier list. Now, it's time. It is
Why is
time for
Encore
us
S too good?
to, It's time to make the max potential tier list. Everything
It's my time.
sweaty sweat is all fair game here, okay?
Alright.
Everything
So, chat, we're making a 1.1 character tier, and 1.1 characters go in that tier, and it's above every other tier. There we go.
Oh my god.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's a
you're wrong.
bottom. There is a button at the bottom that says reset. By the way, Maygi.
Oh. Well, anyways, as you
All
can
that
see, I
time.
don't really make tier lists that often, okay? And when I do,
Boomer
it's a
made-
freaking
You already
joke,
made
okay?
one. I
Dude, it was a
remember your
booba
only
tier
tier
list,
list.
okay? Max potential.
So, 1.1
Honestly,
character
actually-
tier, don't forget that, and we'll be good.
Honestly, the thing is, at max potential, I think unironically more the tier list doesn't change that much. It's just that more characters go into S.
I mean, okay,
Like,
we'll spread it out.
that
Okay,
is-
we'll spread
that
it
is
out.
There will be
Yeah.
higher discrepancy. There will be
That
higher
is kind of
discrepancy.
Okay, so
Can we remove like C tier or and B tier, make it like A plus or A minus, something like that? Because I think
yeah.
the discrepancies are really small at like.
Yeah, that
max
is true. I think
potential.
we
Yeah,
should
but-
make it like, you know.
That's the name, right? Like, does it really matter if it's A plus or A or B?
I think
it's
it
like
does.
a tier
I think it
below.
does count because
No,
it does.
because yeah,
it does
people see
show
like
the
D
difference.
tier and yeah, they think, oh, that
Yeah.
means
It's
bad,
like
right?
the tier 0.5 in Pride one, right?
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, okay, sure, but
It matters
I get the point.
psychologically.
Yeah,
It matters
exactly.
psychologically.
It matters psychologically
We are
because
not
Manipulation,
getting
chat.
into the
also
psychological.
the difference between A minus and S plus wouldn't be as big in actual strength than from like D and S, even though it would look the same, like just by the number of tiers in between
I
those two.
think if for a max potential tier list, most of the tiers would be very close together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
So
why
then
we
this would
need
show
to-
that that they're really close, right? Because people see
Yeah.
like A, B, C versus A plus, A minus.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I remember when I used to look at like
You can do
Ramlu tier lists.
SSS, SSS, SSS.
Yeah, no, they had like so they had a number system 0 to 10, and most characters were like 9, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7. I used to think it was silly, but it makes sense because they're all good. They're just like extremely marginally different, Versus if it was like
I mean,
this character's
I guess
9,
the
8,
one-
7.
The one thing I would say is that like if we're gonna do that, it should basically just be like S plus S, A plus A minus.
No.
and
You're
B
forgetting.
below that.
S plus is
Because-
renamed to 1.1. You forgot that.
Yeah, I mean, rename
We have
Carlotta here.
1.1 and then S, A plus, A minus. There you go.
I mean, I don't think the 1.1 characters are that great compared to like
Max
I'd say-
potential, really? You have Jinchi
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Shang Li, my
I'll
guy.
just make it
Yeah,
SS,
but
okay? We won't call
Yeah.
anything.
They're not as they're not as good as you make them out to be. I don't know why you have this agenda.
Really now.
Okay, anyways,
Yeah,
why
really.
don't we get started?
Yeah, let's actually talk about
Okay,
that.
Judge, first on the list.
S tier.
I would say S tier.
Okay, we'll start her out at S tier. We all know that she's very powerful, decent damage, extremely fast rotation with the jump cancels.
Exactly.
So strong starter at S. Okay.
I will point out that
man.
one thing, it's that like jump cancels, they feel extremely fast. You do frame data, you realize it saves like 1.15 seconds.
That's huge. That's
Yeah,
massive.
It is huge, but like
for tryharding,
people
that's
make
pretty
it seem
big.
like night and day, you know, right?
It
Like
is night and day, dude. If I mess up a cancel, I feel like I'm playing at like 50% speed for those dashes, you know?
Like, absolute max potential. 1.15 seconds is a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, but it's still right. It's like it's not too night and day. I feel like.
Also,
Is it just
can
But
me?
it really is though,
I
because you
think
might
it is just you.
yeah you might run out of a buff window or something like that. You can't just like just leave the casual perspective at the door for this one, like
Sure, yeah. Sorry, I'm too pride to win biased on this one. I
Okay.
hear you.
Carlotta.
Can I make a suggestion?
S
yeah.
for Carlotta.
Hang on, Cam. Let's hear it.
Okay, can we do the main DPSs first and then rate the sub DPSs?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, let me.
Yeah, that actually
I'll put all main
makes
DPS first. Okay, let me order this.
Because I think a lot of I don't know where we are placing a lot of main DPSs, so talking about the sub DPSs are hard.
So I'll
compared
put
to-
I'll put mains and then like dual DPSs and then like sub. Okay. And then supports at the very end. Give me a second to order this.
Also, I wish I knew how to pronounce this. Asian is in chat.
You can call me
specifically
Eugene.
pointing out again that. He's
Oh,
specifically
Asian.
pointing out again that 1.15 seconds is big for cooldown management, and that
Yeah, it is very
Phoebe
big.
with a dodge cancel can dodge counter or cancel. Sorry, yeah, dodge counter. On dodge counter, she ends up saving 2.4 seconds, which is still a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
Ordering these things by like sub DPS and stuff, and I get the Tao Chi and I think, wait, what the F is even Tao Chi, you know?
Wait, people full sessions on dodge cancels? I don't have that frame data. Wait, what?
No, it's just because since when she does a dodge counter, she doesn't have to do.
Yeah, and you can
basic 1, 2,
instantly
3.
cancel.
Oh, dodge counter,
Yeah.
not dodge cancel. Okay.
Yeah,
But it is a dodge
counter,
cancel.
But then you
on
can
the
dodge cancel the dodge counter, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's
Oh
instant.
yeah, true.
but like there are very different terms. So
Okay,
I got very
anyways,
confused.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I have the I have it all sorted by main DPS and sub, then main DPS and then like dual DPS candidates such as like Chun-Li, Calchero, and then whatever. We'll go from there.
Wait, Asian,
Alright,
I don't get 0.57. Wait, what? Did you no wait, Asian? Did you do like full like no cancel rotation at all? Like, did you just time the whole thing together like against like a still enemy? Because like I get like 0.8 seconds time save doing that. I don't know about you, but that really confuses me. Anyways, whatever. This is another topic.
Okay, anyways, okay, so Carlotta. She's going in Carlotta tier again. I say yes, 100%.
I would say yes. Yeah.
Her
I-
damage is still, as disgusting as
The
It
thing
is.
is that another thing we have to discuss and like set as a baseline is like what type of echo investment are we talking about? Because for Carlotta, it is very important to have the echoes to be able to kill in 1 or like 1.5 rotations, because that puts her like way above if she doesn't have that level of
yeah,
echo
like if you don't
investment.
have enough to one rotation, there's not really much you could do to make it better. But we'll assume high end echoes,
Okay, so if we consider like close to CN echoes, then that makes the discussion a lot easier to judge the character strengths.
So one
How
thing
about
that's
the,
interesting about Carlotta is
Go on.
like one thing I find really interesting is like it really matters a lot like what your investment level is and like how hard you're crit fishing of her, because like that may make the difference between using one rotation to kill an entire boss or 2 rotations,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's a very, very large difference on Carlotta.
Okay, hang on. Here's another thing I want to clarify. So max potential versus like crit fishing speedrun potential. Would you put that in the same bucket? Should we consider that you crit fish like is this supposed to be like a consideration for like what could get the fastest speedrun based on crit fishing?
I think we should still consider the average damage, right? Because
Average.
Yeah, I
average
think
Yeah,
performance.
crit fish,
I
yeah,
think
not
we
crit
should
fish.
too.
Especially because okay, TOA might not be the be all end all. We might have more future endgame content, so just generic max potential kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like without
I mean,
the crit
though-
fishing, I would
Because
say.
it's too
Isn't
easy to have a
max-
slippery slope for like how much damage good echoes are, right? Maybe
Yeah.
Carlotta with X amount of echoes could one rotation this, but maybe some other character might be 1.1. That doesn't make them, that much worse, maybe, but obviously in the speedrunning world, yes, a character that cannot one rotation is all of a sudden way worse,
also, since we all know the numbers these characters deal, we can set a baseline like the baseline is we clear in 2 Camellia rotations or something like that. And
I actually have a point that I want to make regarding Carlotta, because in my personal opinion, like I don't know if I'm like a lunatic for saying this, but I actually like don't think she is an SS tier, and that's for one reason. Like, yeah, her damage is really crazy, but like I already said, like you have to also consider that like yes, in this current TUA, maybe you could still argue that like yeah, she is an SS tier. But as you move forward, and like, yeah, I'm obviously assuming here a little bit, but the HP is going up, and we're getting very close to like Carlotta having to go for some insane fucking crit fishing to one rotate boss. So
No, but
I
can
would
just-
say S tier, like top of S tier.
Can I give a counter argument to that?
Sure, go ahead.
With the counter argument is that the same applies to every other DPS, and Carlotta's rotation in Hyper is around, but it is actually exactly 25 seconds, and you can't really like the only other DPS who has like lower rotation time would be like Changli and I guess GN. So if we consider like 2 rotations to be like too big of a deal, then GN and Changli become SS tier and everyone else becomes, lower because of that. So I don't think that's a fair argument to put her like below.
Yeah, that's fair. I can come to accept that.
Because I
also
think like
want to point out. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to, because like it's just that I'm pulling the conversation back a little bit, because if we don't consider crit fishing, then doesn't that specifically hurt Jinchi? Because I think max
It
potential
does, I
Jinji
think.
is crit fish.
Mhm.
It should hurt her a bit
Yeah.
though, because I if you're crit fishing everything, then you can argue, okay, you are using 44111 crit damage echoes,
Mhm.
and it's like worse for the average damage, and
Right.
and then we are going into a territory of speedrunning, which I don't think we want here in terms
Yeah,
of
I don't
building.
think speedrunning in particular, like, this is not, okay, how about let's just clarify. This is not a speedrunning tier list, but more
Yeah,
for, like,
exactly.
average, like, top-end performance, right?
Another thing
Yeah,
about
okay.
having a speedrun tier list is that it makes no sense because speedruns, like the top speedruns, will always make use of the tower buffs.
Yeah, they
So
always
whatever-
make use of
Yeah,
tower
yeah,
buffs,
you're right.
and
So
they vary a lot based on the boss.
Exactly. So like what now? Spectral Rover is SS tier, Phoebe is SS tier, and everyone else is below. And then next DOA is gonna be like, you know,
Brand.
assuming Brand is SS tier and everyone else is below. Like it makes no sense to have like a speedrun only tier list.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll move forward saying with the idea that crit fishing is out of the window, but we're also not having to like worry too much about like, oh, but this team has like you know, 1 rotation, 2 rotation. Just think of like average.
Yeah, and another thing about Carlotta is that there is a lot of tech that you can use even in swap teams, where she can help, like, you know, cut down on the clear time. Because, for example, her and Shang Liao have this timer scam technique with their ultimates. I don't know how many people even know about this, but basically, if you use the ultimate for Carlotta or Shang Liao and then just swap out without pressing anything or moving the character, then the timer in TOA freezes for like 2-3 seconds. And you can just do stuff on your other character. And Carlotta and Shang Liao are the only characters who have this. And for like try hard, you know, min-maxing runs, this is like, I would say, quite important.
Oh yeah, I completely agree on that. The timer scan tech is like really good for any kind of top end clears.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on now to Encore.
I feel like for optimized gameplay, she's still A. Like, she's A to me for optimized play.
Nah,
like,
for
No way.
optimized play with a 16-second rotation, there's no way she's A tier.
Yeah.
So my opinion is A+ for now, but that's only because I'm not 100% sure where I'll place all the other units, and I
true.
may
That's
adjust
true.
Encore later.
We'll just put her in. How about we'll just start her in A+ and we'll see where the rest
Yeah.
go? Because Encore's 16-second rotation is pretty massive.
A+. I'm so sorry, I meant A+. I forgot we were doing plus tiers.
Oh, right, yeah.
So hang on to so again we have SS, we have S, and then we have 3 A tiers: A+, normal, and minus, and then B
Yeah,
and C.
A+ to me, 100%. Sorry about that.
Okay, next is Havoc Rover. So
Okay,
S6
well,
Havoc
optimized
Rover.
play,
Without crit fishing, it's kind of.
I would put her on
I guess A+. I would say
A+ or A.
The thing is, like, okay, just for one second, like, again, we're not talking about speedrun tier
Right,
list here,
and not crit fishing.
and not crit fishing, but with S6 Havoc Rover, there is no crit fishing. Because
True,
even
wait,
if
you have 100 crits.
Yeah, you'll just crit.
right.
Yeah, you
you're
just
just
are
critting.
guaranteed.
Okay.
Exactly.
S tier, easy S tier. Easy S
Even
tier.
if you don't run a crit rate forecast, you just run a Blazing Brilliance, like Changli's signature weapon, and the crit damage forecast, you're still going to be at like 80+% crit rate with Shorekeeper, and that's not crit fishing territory.
You're at like 85 even.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's easily at least S tier.
Yeah.
Okay,
I,
well,
I
we'll
would
put her
even
next year
argue
then.
higher, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll see where the others come in. Okay, next Phoebe. And now this will be hard because most of our experiences with the tower buffs, which are absolutely disgusting, you know.
Okay,
Mhm.
I can chime in a bit because I did some testing on the side towers with Phoebe Spectre Rover. I even tested like this weird Jinxie Zhezhe Shorekeeper against Scar, and then also the Phoebe Spectre Rover Shorekeeper against Scar.
Mhm.
And the difference in damage is not that much compared to the Jinxie team when both teams are played optimally. So it's
You're doing
not
like
that.
speedrun rotations even?
What rotations?
Like you're even going like speedrun level with Jinshi because there's a ton of room for optimization.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude,
yeah.
I speedrun on the character, so
Okay.
I'm doing the proper rotations.
Yeah. All right. No, I'm just curious because there's like she's like the highest skill ceiling in the game by far. So
No, like, don't worry.
not by far, but
I
she
can
is the highest. Not by far.
I
but she
can
is the
I can play the character. Don't worry. So yeah, I would say
Alright.
that Phoebe is much stronger than what people think she is, because people are just glazing her because of the, like, they think that the tower buff is what is making her appear really strong, but it's not just the tower buff. It's like she is actually really strong. Not as strong as the Jinsei team, but it's very close. Like, it's not that far apart.
Also, for max potential, we would consider things like front loading your damage and stuff like that, right? So Phoebe is there's a point to be made that Phoebe can front load her absolution liberation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think put her in top of us for now.
Yeah, I would say that is
Yeah.
very fair for her.
Yeah, that's true.
And next we have Camellia.
I will
Okay.
not chime in on this one too much, simply because I don't have all that much Camellia experience at high level.
I don't either.
So I can't really make like a fair comment. But
Saki, go on.
from
Saki.
all right,
Okay.
go ahead.
So I have played a lot of Camellia. I both love and hate this character. So I can only really chime in on the quick swap side of things. I think the hyper carry side of things of Camellia is very gated by the way her kit works. I personally have a very bad perspective on Camellia's like viability and at like max potential, because it's very, very gated. And even if you do all the optimizations, I don't think she's that great. It even reminds me of that one speedrun where like the top speedrun on the side tower was not H Rover and Danton or Camellia and Sana, but actually H Rover and Camellia together, which was very funny to me. And it kind of appeared to me that Camellia by herself is actually probably not as strong as many people believe to be. In Quickswap, she's also really like uncomfortable to play in various ways.
Oh yeah.
And you really have to shift around rotations in a way that makes the DPS go lower intentionally to make Camellia do more damage. So it's just overall very uncomfortable. I just don't think she's a great character. I personally would put her in A+, even
Right.
like,
I agree.
but
Yeah, I would say that's fair. But one thing, just like a quick comment on that speedrun thing. Speedruns, especially that side tower you're talking about with Fallacy and the 18% crit rate, like that side tower was an anomaly basically, because there the time to kill and the fact that Havoc Rover has a 16-second ultimate cooldown makes him look a lot better than Camellia. Whereas if as you said before, that, you know, the TOA HP might keep increasing and we might need more rotations, in an extended scenario where you would need 2 full rotations to clear, Camellia would pull ahead of Havoc Rover in that case.
yeah, that's 100% true. I think one of the
you
main
are
reasons...
right that she is very
Restrictive.
restrictive. Like, she is very limited in what teams she can perform well in, and the A+ around Encore for now, I would say, is very fair.
I feel like no one's talking about how Camellia just has very little room for optimization in general. Like,
Yeah.
am I the only one who gets that sentiment?
That's actually not true though, because
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Am I the only one who gets that sentiment? Really?
yeah, because for an optimized Camellia will not even use her spins. In Camellia hyper carry, it's better to just do her heavy cancel into BA1-2 into E and then go back to her.
Yeah, if you do
switch
E
between-
and then jump cancel to come back to the ground and keep repeating that rotation, which Cam said, it's better DPS. So there's optimization there. And there's also optimization with double intro rotations to make her get into butt state faster. She has way more optimization than you think.
And
I just want to add about
yeah,
Camellia.
go on.
Like,
Hold
one
on,
thing
let me
that really
find these
pisses
real
me
quick.
off is her damage just drops off a cliff after a burst phase, and there's just like nothing you can do like after that. It feels super bad when you're like really close to killing the boss, and then like Camellia's burst phase is over, and then you're just like kind of just exist there. Like, there's just nothing you can do after that. You just have to do an entire whole rotation again.
a bit of damage, then there is Roshia to cover that up, actually.
I guess, yeah, with Rocha, it's a bit different. That's true. Yeah. You got a good point there.
Okay, so Camellia is very intro reliant, so that is a minus point for me, especially in the top level where being intro independent matters a lot.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But also most of the Camellia clears have had been at the second ephemeral, I think.
Usually, yeah,
and-
the nuke was the one
Which means
killed.
that you lose the whole buff window.
Yeah, but also because of the new tower buffs being very catered to one unit and not being catered to other units, she will have an advantage because now you can do her full rotation and she will perform a lot better. I'm not saying to change her tier or something. I'm just putting in my thoughts. And I think Cavalier is quite good right now with the health thresholds we are facing. But yeah, it's A+ is fine, I think.
I'm back, Chad, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back. Okay,
Yeah,
so
welcome
we have finalized Camellia at A+ tier for now, just because of how restrictive her kit could be, like when trying to do especially when doing anything like, okay, so some people in chat are getting confused and saying, boy, but she's they think she feels like she should be better. I think she's good for like a middle of the road kind of skill level in terms of like having not like super optimized rotations, but like general, good cancels, good swaps, mid-level rotations. She could work pretty well.
Yeah, I think she's like the higher you go in skill level and optimization, the more limited she feels.
Yeah, because then you start getting super cocked by how her kit just does not allow her to swap out without losing her massive buff. It becomes extremely limiting. Okay, next we have Shanli Yao. So this guy,
Okay. I would put him in
easy.
SS tier.
I would also put him in SS.
Easy SS.
Yeah.
He has
Easy
way too many things going for him when it comes to
Extremely
max
flexible.
potential. Yeah.
Like the thing with Yao isn't even that like he's not necessarily an enabler, but he can glue together so many teams in so many ways, especially when you fully optimize them, that it's just
Yeah,
True.
I would honestly put him above Carlotta for max potential.
The fact that he is not intro reliant matters a lot in the max potential level. And he is basically Electro Changli, let's be honest here, right?
Yeah.
You can put him in any...
Very lenient and good swap windows, very good damage. He also has the timer scam tech like Carlotta. Like I don't know, he has so much going for him. I would put him like at the top.
We'll put him at the top, I think.
Regarding Kemp's point, I just want to add, he is Electro Changli, but doesn't need a fucking intro. Like, how insane is that?
Yeah, exactly.
He has max damage potential without any help.
And bro is free! Crazy.
And he's free.
Okay,
There is also the timer scam I want to talk about a bit more because I like explaining things, and the fact that you can just fit an entire enhanced heavy of Phoebe in his timer scam, that's like quite big for any kind of clears and for max potential. So yeah, like I really like and
it's also really good.
You should actually probably specifically explain what the timer scam is.
Oh, okay.
I explained the timer scam before, but I can do it again. Basically, the timer scam with Shang Liao is that you use his ultimate, and then you don't press any buttons, you just swap out the character. And then if you swap out the character after you press his ultimate, without moving him or pressing any buttons, then the TOA timer will be frozen for like 2 or 3 seconds. And that's really good. That's also really good for tech with characters like Kalcharo, for example. That's why Kalcharo and Shang Liao work so well together. Because if you use this tech, then you can get for death messengers really, really easily.
True.
Yeah, because... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Because the timer is frozen and the Kalcharo's ult timer is not ticking down, but he can still do the moves and do damage.
Yeah, it happens with a ton of characters. It happens with like Verena, for example. Very
No,
common
it
example
doesn't.
too.
It doesn't. It only happens with Shang Liao and Carlotta. Like you
Wait,
can
really?
try
I
it.
get it with Verena too. Are you kidding?
Not
No,
very well.
it's a very big difference compared to what you were talking about. Like the
Okay.
timer scam you're talking about is like 0.5 seconds. This is literally 3 seconds timer frozen, nothing happening.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay, my bad.
Yep. So like a lot of ultimates or liberations in this game do timer scam, but the difference, like the actual like gap of time that you're like skipping in a sense, is gigantic on Carlotta and Zhang Liao specifically.
Yeah, and only if you do this tech where you don't move them and you don't press any attack buttons. Like if you move them or press attack buttons, then they're more in line with the other characters. Like 0.5, 0.6, somewhere around there, like that many seconds saved. But if you don't move them, then you get the massive giga 3-second timer scams.
And just to clarify, for people who might not be thinking too much about how the buffs in this game work, they do work with the in-game timer. So if the timer's frozen, all buffs and whatever, they're all holding for that time.
Exactly. Same as the Calcharo Liberation. So like that's why instead of an 11-second window to fit in for Death Messengers, you have a 14-second window, and that's like very big.
Yeah, I also want to like add things for all the people that are not used to time scamming. Please keep in mind this freezes all timers, which means it also freezes your skill cooldowns. So if you want to use a skill and you assume that the skill will be available around the time that you swap back, well, be in for a pretty nice surprise, because it won't be, because even that skill timer is frozen.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point.
But still,
So it
I
does
mean,
have some downsides.
some
Yeah.
attacks during free time is better than no attacks, Even if you don't get your skill, it's free. It's literally free. You're not losing buffs or anything. Your buffs are holding.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, next, Jinshi. Oh boy, Jinshi.
Yeah, SS, I would say. There's a lot of tech. Selkie can take it away from
Oh
me.
yeah, tell us about it.
So
The guy.
you go into incarnation and you press basic attack and you press jump and you spam both buttons and then Jinshi go boom. That's basically the tech. Now, jokes aside, this tech is like, I may have oversold it a little bit. It is useful. It's not game breaking. It doesn't actually make Jinshi like the SSS super god character now. It is a useful tech in some teams, and it definitely does speed up hypercarry Jinshi rotations in some ways, but it doesn't break the game. But Jinshi, and this is specifically my admiration for Jinshi, Jinshi with Yinlin is, in my honest opinion, the hardest team in the entire game to play. And
No,
I think that team
I would
is
say
unbelievably strong.
Yeah, I would say that's a reasonable take. I would say it's reasonable.
I think Ling Yang Changli was harder for me though. I don't think I've optimized Jin Shinlin that much, but Ling Yang swaps feel very bad.
I mean, that's more to do with Ling Yang being bad than.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
Ling Yang.
Yeah.
It
Specifically
is
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't know if we're talking about like output or the actual difficulty, because Ling Yang swaps, yeah, it's very difficult to for me at least to perform. Also, I actually wanted to ask: are we considering Jinshi without crit fishing? Because then I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
if
without
she-
crit fishing.
Okay, without crit
Yeah,
fishing,
I
but
was asking that before.
no, but we are taking into consideration like really good echoes, and I think 80% crit rate on Jinshi, because of her crit rate nodes and crit rate weapon, is very reasonable with good echoes.
Yeah.
And
But
I
all
would
it
say
takes
80.
is like one missed crit, right?
Okay, it one miss crit on like the biggest nuke, sure, but I would say, let's say like we take an average of 3 runs. Out of the average of 3 runs, there's gonna be one where you are gonna crit with 80% plus crit rate.
Yeah, like the crit fishing argument is like, I wanted to make an exception for Jinshi, because I'm gonna be fucking real. Hitting 2 nukes with a crit, or even 3, I don't think it's too much to ask for a character that uses a crit rate signature and even has crit rate nodes.
It really
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Especially if you have
thinking as well.
Shorekeeper.
I think the crit fishing argument is more against setups like crit fishing on Changli, who has like five
Yeah,
big
I
nukes,
Uh-huh.
five big nukes and a crit damage signature, and then you put her on a crit damage, Nightmare Rider. Like, yeah, that would be like, I would say, so to speak, against the spirit of what this tier list is trying to represent, because you're basically crit fishing with 52% crit rate. That's not very, nice.
And
Okay,
that's
so
why
are
all
we
my...
taking?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go on. Okay, sure. Are we taking versatility into account in this tier list? Because, for example, Jinshi works with everyone as well, right? Almost everyone.
Right.
Not as
Yeah.
So if we are taking versatility into account, then my concern about crit fishing also comes into play. If it's not, then no, right? Because like if we are talking about Jinshi Changli, it's not the greatest name ever. It requires a lot of crit fishing. It's good for speedruns. But when you are talking about the average performance for that team, it's not that great, right? So
Right.
yeah, are we considering all these factors in, like the versatility and how good she is in dual DPS teams and whatnot?
I mean, I would make a counter argument because I think why Jinshi Changli is not as good is not because of Jinshi though. Like I would say that's more because of like all the crits that you have to hit on Changli.
Right,
not
yeah.
Yeah,
Jinshi.
I'm with I'm with this.
So
take
that's
as
more
well,
of a
that-
Chun-Li thing, because we...
Yeah, it's more of a Changli, so to speak, issue and less of a Jinsei issue. Like Jinsei works really well with so many other characters and in so many other team comps that it would feel silly not to put her in at least SS tier right there.
I agree with this, as I'm
Mhm.
just like curious
Yeah.
about the like actual factors involved to putting her in SS.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add to Jinshi was like, obviously we do not have like a true super important use for this right now, but because the JJC tech exists and that you have a insanely easy and quick accessible intro may make a major difference in the viability of another character in the future with Jinshi. Like the mere fact that Jinshi has literally fast intro generation in the entire game aside of S2 Arena is
But does
crazy.
that
Like it is
not-
so good.
Does that not help Jinshi Camellia teams though? I think it does, right?
It does, but Camellia's ass.
All
Yeah.
right, okay.
Like,
Some
Oh.
people in the chat
Time.
were having questions about the placement of some themes. So remember, this is maximum potential calculations, and some people are asking about like, oh, but they saw DPR of X character, deep damage per rotation for like Jinchi might be less than Camellia. Well, here's the thing, right? The Jinchi, like especially with the aforementioned JJC jump cancel, Jinchi could sit in the back and still get her massive burst out in a matter of seconds, versus Camellia, who has to sit on the field for a million years and kind of limits the what you could do on other characters because of how she works. That's why she's placed where she is.
Also, another comment I would like to make in addition to this is that most of the DPR calculations that you have seen, they're not very good at actually judging max potential at like the highest level of play. Because at the highest level of play, rotations are going to be very
Fluid.
encounter specific. So for example, front loading certain characters' ultimates where you wouldn't do it in a, so to speak, casual rotation and stuff like that. Like that is not considered when we look at the publicized DPR rotations. Like I have DPR calculations for like really sweaty PB spectral rover calcs, where it's like 2 million DPR, but you're not gonna see 2 million DPR ever unless you have like my substats and you play like with my specific rotation. So it's like saying like X character has X DPR is not like
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
It literally
exactly.
just does not make
In this
sense.
context.
Okay, anyways, we'll move on to Jian next.
our general.
Our idiot
Our
general.
I would put him at A+ next to
Agree.
Camellia. Like I'm
Agree.
a very big GN simp, and I like him a lot and I play him all the time. But I would say that at max potential right now, he is very limited by the fact that he only has Mortefi as his like best in slot support. And while Mortefi is great, like really, really good character, but the cooldowns just don't line up. If Gian had a support who was 16-second cooldown instead of 20, I would say he would be top of S tier, bottom of SS tier. But like this, I would say A plus.
Yeah, because something a lot of people might be confused on is like they might look at this, they see Gian, lower than Havoc Rover, but when you're considering at max potential, the cooldown gauge is kind of a really big deal,
Yeah, it's really important at max potential.
And with Mortifi as a sub DPS, it's like no matter how optimal you get with like swaps and stuff, there's only so much you could do. You don't get as much value for like something like a Gian Mortifi team doing extra Mortifi swaps than if you have like a Shenli out, for example, who could go in and get a lot more damage.
And another thing I would like to add about Gian is that you may have seen, for example, in Yumi's speedrun showcases, that there was like a Gian Sanhua team being used, which performs similarly to Gian Mortefi team. And the reason for that is literally only the fact that Sanhua's cooldowns are 16 seconds and not 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So if Gian ever gets a support who buffs like arrow damage or heavy attack and has a 16-second cooldown, he would shoot up in the max potential category. But for now, I would say A plus is very fair.
Yep.
Another funny thing about Gian is like he belongs to a long list of carried by Jinshi characters, because actually Jinshi Gian is actually just as fast as Gian Mortefi. So and that was, by the way, just saying, back then that was not hyper optimized Jinshi, so it might even be faster by now.
Right now it's only. Actually, yeah, it's hard to say because like Jinsi giving the really fast outro now with the jump cancels, it might be even faster. So you're right.
It might be faster, but maybe not even relatively so, right? Because again, Gian has his own cooldowns to worry about and his own limitations for how much he could do in a certain period. So it depends on who else you run. Like you can run, I don't know.
1 second. I thought we were talking. We weren't including speedruns in this. Why are we talking about clear times?
Because TOA is still like, how would you consider max potential without clear times?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be speedrun clears.
We're effectively making a speedrun clears right now, though, right?
If we were doing speedruns, we would specifically be considering this TOA buff, and then we just put Phoebe and Esruba and SST, and then.
So we're making like a speedrun tier list, but like excluding TOA buffs is all.
And
it's not a speedrun tier list. It's just max potential. Like if it was a speedrun tier list, Camellia would be higher, for example.
True.
Yeah, sure.
And I also want to say that the tier list does not include crit fishing. Does not also, but
true.
The clear time does matter still, right? Because then we are taking into account things like front loading damage. Instead of doing like one full rotation and then comparing that, because that's just a DPR comparison at that point.
Yeah, it's not really like a tier list at that point.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, checks out.
Okay, next we're moving on to Ling Yan.
Here we go.
So I don't have the experience with this character, so I won't speak up too much about this, but what do you guys think?
Yes, Cam.
I would put him below Alto, because I mean both of them, and Alto usually clears comfier even at max potential. So I guess it would be like B.
Guess we'll start over here.
Yeah, B.
It's your max, like strike maximum.
Yeah.
And below also same tier.
Ling Yang is not catastrophic. Ling Yang is not catastrophic level.
He's not catastrophic. His
we
DPS is it exists.
Because Ling Yang Changli is not bad. I would like consider that team to be A at least.
Well, the thing about that team is that it's literally carried by Changli. Like,
right.
Are we really saying that Ling Yang is like benefiting Changli in any way?
I mean, yeah, kind of, because Ling Yang is taking care of Changli's downtime. He's doing some damage, so I can argue.
all the other characters take care of her downtime that much better, you know.
Are we comparing it to other characters?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean that's why he's relatively B compared to like Encore being A+, you know,
Yeah.
because he doesn't
sure.
do as much in the downtime.
Yo, you just want to set the standard for what's like bottom tier, so we have a good idea.
Tier
I'm
would be
John.
what, Jiangsu?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay,
That's
let
what
me-
like,
No, I don't
getting ahead
think
of
so.
ourselves a
though.
little, but like it's obvious enough to me, right? Like just set the standards for what's really low.
Okay, so here we have Genshin Impact in tier C. Okay, who else? Want to put Yofu there as well?
I think
Yeah.
it might be the bottom tier. I don't know. I think I've seen some good Jianshin play, especially from Shime.
Shime's gonna get pissed when they see this.
Yeah, Shiva's gonna hate this.
But I,
But like,
we
it's
now have the
the
standards.
thing is,
for...
even that team, is it really enough to pull? Like, she's basically just being carried by What the hell is her name? Jinshi. She's just being carried by Jinshi in that team.
Yeah,
So
yes.
it's not really her merit. It's just Jinshi being good and Motefi being able to use a heavy attack.
I mean, either way, it's like the team does worse than hyper carry Jinshi. Like, you know, why are we considering it even?
okay, but
Because it's max potential is why we're considering it.
I guess, yeah, but like Genshin's
I
max
mean, I don't know
potential
if
kind of just up there.
Jianshin is worse than
Yeah,
Ling Yang,
exactly.
though.
Which is why she's still going down here.
Genshin is
Yeah.
worse than Ling Yang, 100%.
So now we have the standards for bottom tiers. Let's move on to like Alto.
I mean, we wanted to put. Did we want to put? Okay, where do we want to put him? Do we want to put him below Ling Yang?
Nah, put Alto
No,
A
no,
minus,
I won't.
A minus,
A
A minus,
A
A minus.
Yeah, he is above Ling
I will
Yang.
die on this hill. You will not move him into the same tier as Ling Yang. I think Alto is genuinely better. I also think he's more
Honestly,
flexible.
agree though. I
Like-
think he's better, just not by that much though. But I think he's better, but just not by
Okay.
that much.
I'm probably the only person that actually ever tried to min-max Alto quickswap. This
Yeah,
character
okay,
at
Alto
max
quickswap.
potential is fucking crazy much better at like than skill floor. I think it's probably not even like too far exaggerated to say that this character has the largest like gap between skill floor and skill ceiling in the entire game. And I will die on that hill.
I think
Jinshi?
Jinshi is higher, but I would also say that Alto, in my opinion, who has played and min-max Alto a bit in Hyper, I would say he's like low A tier. Like not, he's not bad at all. Like he's low A tier, I would say.
I could let's just wait. Like let's just see where we put the other characters and then maybe low A tier.
Sure. Yeah,
Optimize,
sure.
Ling Yang and Optimize also, it's like very close to each other. Also, usually wins, but it's very close to each
Yeah.
other. So, I guess being a tier apart is fine for them.
Like I want to
I
add one
was
thing to
considering
Alto.
just putting his same tier above Ling Yang, but you know what? Just like bottom A minus is fair enough, I guess.
The thing about Alto is like he, unlike Ling Yang, doesn't hold team compositions back because like obviously there's like high field time and low field time characters, and Alto can be played as a low field time character, which makes him like significantly better as a DPS in pretty much all teams.
Okay, let's see what we put in A, because I have no idea what's an A tier character right now. So we can
Let's
come
do
back
a
to it
character
later.
by
Yeah.
character and we'll figure it out.
Move on.
Okay,
Alright,
next
Chun-Li.
we have
Alright.
Chun-Li.
Moving
Oh
on.
boy. I think
SS
straight
is
to
on.
SS.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
where
would-
in SS? Would you put her above
I would put-
Jinshi?
Next.
I would put Changli. I would put Changli at either bottom of SS, like right below Jinshi, or at the top of
Okay, hang
S
on,
tier.
wait, sorry, let me interrupt.
Below Jinshi,
I need to
SS
interrupt,
is fair.
guys. My chat, YouTube chat, you guys, calm your tits, guys. What the F? Stop talking about other content creators. Stop getting angry about whatever, okay? I'm about to start banning some people in there, okay? So,
Hello, Saint
calm
Thomas.
down, you guys, okay? People, someone's getting upset at me for quote unquote ignoring chat, bro. We have. You need to understand, there's 6 people in this room. We're trying to get, multiple opinions. I can't just butt in to respond to chat whenever, okay?
And Maygi
So,
getting
and,
baited by a 3 cost.
Hey, you need just stop. And it's very impolite to talk about other content creators in someone's stream, okay? So if you have a problem, go somewhere else. Bye. Okay. Anyways, sorry, I had to get that out.
Go back to Changli, guys. Back to
Changli.
Changli.
Okay, so SS definitely, just to explain to anyone who might not be familiar, obviously she has so many. She could get value, like flexibility. There's so many opportunities you could swap to her and get a decent amount of value compared to like some other characters. Like, again, the reason Camellia is down here is because her swap in value is a lot less.
So we are considering
Changli
versatility, right?
can swap cancel. She can swap cancel her skill, her true sight conquest, her forte, her basic attacks if you're doing those. Sometimes it's applicable in like triple DPS. She can swap pretty much all of her hits that she's doing in a given rotation, every single one. So you're playing two characters at once with her on the team at max potential. It's extremely strong to have that quality. You can even play 3 characters at once in some teams. Crazy.
Yep. And she has a very productive use of
damage to back it up. So yeah.
And I say productive use of time because like
Yeah.
even if you want to do like a character A to B to A swap, you can spend a second on it easily. A true sight into a skill cancel is just like if you're instant with it and cancel the latter end of the true sight, it's still like 0.75 seconds. So you can, if you want to like instant swap back, you could let the true sight damage go out and then swap.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I want to say that I believe Changli belongs in the top of S and not in the SS tier. I just I love Changli and I know how good she is at max potential and I know how much better she's at max potential than compared to skill floor. But Changli just doesn't have qualities that other SS characters have. She doesn't have a true time
love her.
scam. She doesn't have a game-breaking mechanic like intergeneration.
And
And-
fishing with her is also very difficult compared to
Very painful.
So her
Yeah,
very
average is
painful.
probably a lot.
Yeah, I would say I'm 100% with Selkie on this one, and that's why I also said that I would have put her at the top of S tier instead of
mean-
SS tier.
Okay, I can see that.
You know what? Considering S tier characters, I will agree. Considering who's in S tier, that's fair to me.
Like she's better than the other S tiers, but she's not as good as the SS tier characters.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%.
I could
agree.
actually make a case for Phoebe being better, but I get okay, it's fine. Like Changli could be at the top of
I
S tier.
think Phoebe isn't better simply because she's more restricted than Changli right now. At least
No,
right
but
now.
the thing is, she because she does not get that much value out of SK. That means she can run the third slot to be
I feel
almost
like-
anybody.
Cam, I feel like you're
And-
getting a bit ahead of yourself in the sense that I don't mean like in a bad way or anything. I just mean that I'm certain, in fact, that we haven't seen Phoebe's full potential as of patch 2.1, and with future releases she'll get like more use. I mean,
Well,
just
I mean, but this is a patch 2.1 specific comparison.
right? Yeah, but I'm saying this as in like her current placement to me is fair for that reason. Like I feel like we haven't seen her full potential, and she may go like above Changli in the future. As of the current patch,
I think in the current patch, I could argue at least that she's better than Changli, but it's if somebody tells me that Changli is just better than Phoebe, I would not disagree with it.
Yeah, I would say they're
And-
close. They're very close together, but like I would say Changli right now has more overall value than
Phoebe is likely to get more though, with Confession State probably
Yeah.
getting exploited at some point, since it's unused right now.
Yeah,
Crazy
but
kit design, by the way.
It's likely, we'll say.
yeah, and the thing is that I just wanted to make the point that Phoebe is not that restrictive because aside from S Rover, you have the free third slot, right? And that is not Showkeeper is not doing that much there for her. So yeah, like Phoebe is also very versatile, and I think a lot of people are just caught up on the extrovert thing as a downside, and just wanted to clear that up as at least in the max potential tier list.
I
Yeah,
agree,
that's
but
fair.
you're forgetting a
That's
very
fair.
important point. You're forgetting a very important point, which is we need to suggest we need to glaze Changli a bit more to like avoid another DDoS.
Oh,
Oh,
true.
okay.
Yeah.
If
Sure,
someone's
sure,
saying that
sure.
in chat, I'm saying it for them,
Yeah,
but it's
we-
so true.
We already put her down to S tier. We really shouldn't,
We
Let's just
shouldn't
avoid
try
another
it
DDoS,
anyway.
guys. Let's just
Yeah.
avoid one.
Okay, let's go
Let's
next.
just
Go
move on.
next. Another very quick swap happy unit. Couchero.
All
Okay.
right.
Yay!
This will be the biggest tier jump of any character from the casual to.
What did we
max
put him in
potential.
casual again? Hang on, I forgot.
It was
Put him in
D tier.
D. Oh, okay.
So as probably one of the OG Calcharo players, I'm not saying I'm the best or anything. Like that belongs to Sidewinder, Ceres, and Hafiz.
Sidewinder, my goat. Shout out.
Yeah, for real. But like I do play Calcharo, and I have played Calcharo a lot, and I will say that he's probably around Changli tier. Like if we consider max potential, but I wouldn't say he's any better than that. But I would say he is.
I'd say below Phoebe personally. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah.
Would you put him above Jojo as well? Is the question.
Yeah.
I think
I would
yeah.
most certainly, yes.
Mm-hmm. I also want to mention, because of Yao's time scam thing, Yao's existence retroactively allows Calcharo to do 3DM.
True.
Like again, it's something that I had to spend a while trying to figure out, and you essentially just have to do the 4DM combo to just get his baseline damage. But Yao enables Calcharo to be played at a baseline.
Yeah, like if we consider like their best teams, then Calcharo's best teams are gonna be either Shangliao or Carlotta or both. And like I would say like at max potential, Calcharo is like really strong. But the big issue and why I wouldn't put him at SS is simply because his damage is more spread out and sort of like, you know, backloaded and not as front loaded as other characters.
It's
who are
even
in
loaded,
Right.
rather.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I have a question. Can we do we take an inconsistency as a metric for this max potential tier list? Because I think
Potential, I don't
calculator.
If there's stuff that's like
is-
out of your control, that will constantly mess you up, you know.
Well,
So-
like I'm pretty sure some for example how like Calcharo does like monkey runs and then monkey does the swipe and it just makes doing 4DMs really really annoying.
No, but like okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but just like a quick like disclaimer, like should we consider player skill to be like, you know, really high for this?
Yeah, it's
or, like,
max
average?
potential,
Yes.
right? Max
Yeah.
potential.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
max potential.
at max potential, that's not an issue because you can do 4DMs, especially with the Yao team against Monkey, very consistently. So
Okay, then do we also consider that he actually does get the full damage of all DMs off? Because that's like another thing. Like a lot of
good
bosses
point,
do jump around a
actually,
lot, and
yeah.
he doesn't even hit like the entire damage.
Yeah, because it's like the thing is, Calcharo just ends up sheeting a lot better than he actually performs in practice because like the first part of his DM can just miss.
Yeah, like if we
No, but
did like
again-
sheet Calcharo, he would be like SS tier, like unironically. But I think
Yeah.
No, the funny thing is on Sheet he doesn't do that much damage actually. Like I mean, I'm not gonna say you're wrong on this one, but you're a bit wrong on this one. Like if you compare his Sheet damage to like the other SS characters, it's not up there. It's just
Yeah,
that
that's because he doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah. I mean,
if he had a
that's
weapon, he would be
basically it.
fucking crazy.
Oh, for sure. But like, I would say, like, you know, just leave him at S tier. Let's just, you know, move on to the
Okay,
next character. 'cause
sure.
It's
Yeah.
taking quite long.
So next is Rosha.
Oh my god.
Pretty good damage, pretty swap friendly. Though her teammates are a bit limited.
I have done a lot of Rocher runs around the time Fallacy was there, and I would put her an A, I think, looking at the tier list right now, because she is pretty good as the third slot, where you are using the flat attack buff for all three of the units, and that makes you. That's first of all a unique team comp, and also that is pretty good, right? She has no field time at all, and in general, yeah, she is pretty good, I would say.
I would dare to say A+. I think she's a bit better than A. Like I think she can be slotted in the same tier as the other characters.
Put her right next to
And,
Camellia, maybe, or
yeah, next to Camellia.
Sure,
Bottom of
I
it.
would
A
not
plus tier,
disagree.
I mean.
okay. I guess not too much debate on that one. So, Spectre Spectral Rover.
Eugen.
Spectral
I
Rover, you
don't
say?
have a piece on this. I didn't play him
I
enough.
mean,
Okay, so the thing about Spectral Rover is that with perfect cooldown utilization, I would say he is right up there with Havoc Rover in swap teams. Without perfect cooldown utilization, but we are speaking max potential,
Max
so
potential,
I would assume perfect cooldown utilization. He goes down to like bottom of A plus or A tier. But with max potential, I would say bottom of S tier. So like below or next to Havoc Rover, basically, like either above or
Okay, but question, like, are you assuming this TOA are actually like no tower buffs? Because
No,
I
any
don't.
TOA.
I think
no,
like-
no tower boss.
no, any TOE. If you check my like again, I'm just gonna be talking about like my personal experience, and I am like a Spectral Rover main, so to speak. So I am a bit, I wouldn't say biased, but I do have a lot of experience on the character. So that's why I know, for example, that like the monkey is just an exceptionally bad matchup, and that's why he feels shit to play in this TOA, even though he is the one that like provides the frazzle stacks and the buffs and whatnot. But he doesn't feel that good to play against other bosses. He's perfectly fine. But like if you check past TOA cycles that I've done runs with him on, like he performs good. Like he doesn't underperform compared to Havoc Rover or other DPS characters.
I think
Alright, then-
there's just a lot of value in not the short cooldown and being able to deliver a very reasonable chunk of damage in like very consistently throughout a rotation, right? Like not even
Exactly.
attaching them to Phoebe, right?
Exactly. Like I think the people generally overlook how much damage he does simply because it's not like one big number on the on the Forte screen. Like it doesn't show the fact that he does like 650 motion value of damage every 6 seconds, but that's what he does. Like it's a lot of damage.
I agree. My only counter argument is that I believe Havoc Rover just does unfathomably much more damage than Spectre Rover,
But
especially
he
at
doesn't.
S6.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't.
You really think so? Like,
No, I
yeah.
calculated it, so I'm speaking from like I have the sheets to back it up. Like he doesn't do
Really?
less damage than Havoc.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, no, Havoc Rover has quite a bit more, but like Spectre Rover doesn't do like what's for certain is Spectre Rover doesn't do negative damage. Far from it. That's what my sheets give me personally. Like
Okay, but you're
Rover
not
does
using
have
the
very
same.
high damage, but like Havoc Rover level is a bit much.
No, but you're not using the rotations I'm talking about. You're talking about the casual DPR
No,
rotations.
no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like pretty optimized stuff. But like I just don't know how many basics you're doing. To be
Okay,
fair.
so Spectral Rover can fit in 5 Fortes into for example, the Phoebe hyper rotation, and
Yeah.
that alone already puts him above Havoc Rover's personal damage in a swap team.
But
So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, depends what teams you're talking Havoc Rover in. So fair. I'm ready to believe that. Sure, that sounds about right, actually.
In Phoebe specifically, I guess I can.
I mean,
agree to
you're
that.
only using Spectral Rover there anyways. It doesn't matter. You have to consider Phoebe.
I guess.
No, like I'm just saying that he does way more damage than what people think he does.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. And just because people are asking for
I
some
think it's
numbers,
just, to be honest.
just to put some numbers out there in terms of like base DPS, because I always use level 1 skill DPS as the base number.
Okay.
In the skill combo, the spin is 130, the follow up is 120, so that's 250, and then that's every 6 seconds, and then could also swap in for a 234, that's 150, and then the after tune combo is also another
No, but
100.
Maygi, you're not considering the fact that you're doing the what you see on the Forte screen for the Forte damage. You add all of those up, and then from his sequences, he gets a 60% multiplier increase, similar to Camellia as to that.
Alright, so we can't just look at the base damage numbers, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so it goes even higher. So that's why I'm saying the 650 movement value thing. Like it's a lot of damage.
Someone's asking, you need Phoebe to make S Rover. I mean, like S Rover just has a lot of times you could just swap in for good damage very consistently. And I mean, obviously paired with Phoebe is solo team
I mean,
because of Frazzle.
Yeah,
but...
that's the optimal team like right now. But like even without Phoebe, he performs well.
I mean, I can argue that being Phoebe needing Astro right now would put her in S tier, like in general. But also, Astro has more qualities like downtime utilization that Yuzen talked about, but also not being intro reliant. Again, front loading his damage. These things also matter for TOA power scaling, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
TOA
Like at
is-
max potential, he's a lot better than like at the casual level, like way better.
And another consideration to make is that because Rover has healing on Liberation, that means you could run them on damage-oriented rejuvenating glow set and have them providing those buffs, and even put another DPS in there if you want,
That too, and he also triggers the tower buffs. I mean, I know we're talking about more tower buffs now, but he does trigger tower buffs which require healing.
So it lets you fill that gap without actually needing to take a dedicated healer.
Yeah, like I mean, like there's just so much going for like him being really good, and even if we don't consider like the really try hard rotation, just all the quality of life upgrades he has over Havoc Rover, I would say already put him at least A+, like top of A+. But when we consider like the sweaty rotations with like all the cooldown utilization being perfect, I would say S tier easily.
Yep. And then of course there's the outro making the boss very slow for a bit. That definitely helps with rotation consistency versus a Havoc Rover having some puddle on the floor that some things could move out of,
Yeah.
There's a difference there as well, I guess. Okay, anyways. Yang, guys. Yang.
This one's Selkies, I think.
Oh, why do you push this on me? I mean, like the thing is, I think Yang is like just the perfect definition of an A tier character.
Yep.
Like I cannot see her next to Jian. I just really cannot. But I can definitely see her in A. I think she's like the perfect middle point of the tier list.
I agree with that one. Any other inputs? Or we're just gonna say, yep, A sounds good. I think we're pretty happy with this.
I don't really have
I
much
could
to
add
say about
something, but I
Yang
don't think
Yang.
it's that relevant, so whatever.
I don't think there's much to say about Yang Yang. I just want to like point out that like in certain teams, especially like Changli and Carlotta, Yang Yang performs like unbelievably much better. Especially because of the mid-air swaps. They are really great at accelerating her rotations. So it's a bit team dependent, but Yang Yang still, I think, is a very underrated character in general. I think Yang Yang is really strong, and people do not give her credit for that.
100%. Okay, next we go to Mortefi. That's how to pronounce it, right? Mortefi? Mortefi?
Give my goat S tier. Give my goat S tier.
This guy.
Give my goat S tier.
See, the thing is, like Motefi,
Motefi's
we
S tier.
specifically went over how Motefi is holding Jian back, right? Like, just because of his cooldown, not even because he's doing anything badly in particular. It's just that 20-second cooldown.
Well, no,
That's
it's more of
So good
Jian.
everywhere. It's not just Jian. He's just so good everywhere.
Yeah, I think
He's so good. It's
I think he
stupid.
works really. He works better in like the Phoebe Astro Mortefi
100%.
comp right now
100%.
because you can just run him on Empyrean and buff both the Spectral characters and get insane value out of that. And because as Kem previously mentioned, Phoebe and S-Rover as well, they don't really need the extra crit from Shorekeeper because you can very easily overcap either way, especially on Phoebe. So running Mortefi with the Empyrean on that team is just like it's really good.
So I say we put him in an S tier.
Put him over Zezha. Over
Over
Zezha.
Zezha.
Over there sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Jian is holding Mortefi back, guys.
True. True.
Our general.
Okay, next is Dungeon.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Like, I Dungeon is great and all, but in terms of like Giga Max potential teams.
Seriously, I think she's A+.
I feel like A plus or A next to Yang Yang.
A
I feel
plus,
I think
100%.
A+.
I have
I've seen a lot of very impressive solo runs with Dungeon.
Oh,
Like,
that's solo. That doesn't
doesn't
count.
count.
That's completely unrelated.
I
okay,
have
okay.
seen-
Actually, genuinely, I think unironically, Dungeon is held back by playing her in a team.
Come on, have you seen a Havercrover Dungeon speedrun, bro?
Yeah,
I have, but I've also seen
speedrun,
Dungeon
but, like,
speedruns, and they're like
I know
weirdly
we're not supposed to
good.
count in speedruns, but I'm talking like they're a good depiction of optimal play, and like you know, Havercrover Dungeon optimally is like it goes crazy hard.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Like the fucking damage that Dungeon does with her enhanced forte, like not
Yeah.
the first forte, the
second one,
full
okay.
bar forte. Like I swear to God, that
It's
thing
crazy.
with liberation, it nukes like a quarter of the boss HP bar.
Yeah,
It is
100%.
unbelievably much damage, and her rotations at the max potential level are so smooth because they just keep spamming the second, like the short like skill rotation. They never do the third, like the
Like
three
the second
input.
scale, yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
fair.
Like the
Okay.
north scale.
Like it's so smooth. She feels so good, and I have watched that H Rover dungeon run like over 100 times by now. It's literally like
Bro has it as his homepage.
brandished into my mind.
A+,
It's I cannot
where
forget
do we
about
think
it
in
anymore.
A+, guys? Where do we think?
A
I
plus,
think
100%.
top
But like,
of A+,
where do we think
top-
in A+, right?
Above Camellia.
yeah,
Sure.
I would say above
Check out.
Camellia.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree.
Okay, boy, next, our favorite, Yinlin. Max
Oh, boy.
potential Yinlin.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You guys will have to fight me on this
Yang
one.
Yang tier.
S tier. S tier.
S tier?
S tier. Actually, really high S tier as well.
Really hot. Okay,
Like
explain yourself.
under Motefi. Under
Yo,
Motefi.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not really high. Then that's that's less than the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Shush. Under Motefi.
Okay, let me make a counter argument.
Okay.
While I do understand the point that Jinsei and Yinlin, when played optimally at the highest level, is really a well-performing team. I have only seen one TOA cycle where it actually outperformed Jinsei with Zeze. So I'm not sure if it's really like, you know, fair to say that it's better for Jinsei to run Yinlin. But I do see the argument for her being like,
I'm
you
not
know...
gonna lie, this is effectively a speedrun tier list, y'all. It effectively is. Like,
Okay,
as much
so,
as we
so
say it
no.
isn't.
Okay, so tell me, how would you judge a character's strength if not clear time? Like, how would you judge it without
I
being
agree. It's
casual
like,
about
we're
it?
effectively doing a speedrun tier list. Like, let's just state the terms at this point.
If we did a speedrun tier list, we would
It's
assume
speedrun
max
tier list
level
without
crit fishing.
Yeah.
Like literally like
Speedrun
1
tier list
million
without crit
retries
fishing,
every
basically.
single like crit hits, and then the tiers would look very differently as well.
Yeah, we're just doing speedruns, but without crit fishing is essentially what this is.
Yeah.
No,
Which-
but
Yeah,
I-
so
I'm
that's
saying-
like average
These are like the terms.
max potential.
That's all I wanted to hear.
No, I'm genuinely asking, like, Sweat, how would you rank a character's
No, I
max
get
potential
you. I get you. It's just
if
like
not on clear time? Like, how would you
it's
rank
like
it?
we say we're not doing a speedrun tier list. Like it effectively is. We're just not crit fishing is the only difference. That's it.
No, I get your concern, but like, there's no other way
the
to rank
the only thing is
character's
that we
strength.
said we weren't doing a speedrun tier list. That's my only gripe. Like we effectively are. It's just no crit fishing involved or tower buffs.
Okay, but are
So
we
it's
really
not a speedrun tier list.
But like it kind of is. But anyways, whatever. I'm nitpicking. So Yunlin, my input on her very similar to Salaki's. In a Jinshi comp, it's pretty stupid. Would I say it's above Jeje? That's something you can debate, to be honest. Like Eugene said, it's like often comparable. Like the two, they're like always comparable.
I think
and
it just
often you
put
have to
we
judge
just put them
points.
next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
like
works.
they're
Yeah.
next to each other, sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Agree.
do we
Okay,
put one
but-
above or below? What do we do?
Under
Just say
my-
they're
Yeah,
equal
below.
to stop people from complaining.
True. True.
No, but
Oh,
honestly, I would lean
I-
towards below.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
because
let's be-
the thing
let's
about
be real.
Yin then is that. Sorry, continue.
Okay, Yinlin is more hot than Jeje, but at the same time, she works in less teams, so I would say put her below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Mhm.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Okay,
fair.
what team are we
I think for
considering
me
here
it's
for
just
Inland though?
that
Jinshi.
Because
Jinshi Shorekeeper.
only Jinshi, but then like shouldn't she have like minus points for lack of versatility?
Yeah, that's why we're putting her
That is
under
a-
Yeah,
that
that's
is
why
a fair
she's
point,
below,
actually.
because there's Ginger
Yeah,
can
but
fit in more teams.
like-
No, but then Kem is correct because then Camellia could be moved up as well because then
Yeah.
she's not versatile, but she is strong. So I guess Yinlin could go into like A+. That would be more fair.
Yeah, but do you
And-
really think that Camellia it like matches up to everything else in S tier?
I think so. Yeah, like
I think so, yeah. Like when played optimally, yeah. It's just not versatile. Like you play the same one team in the same one playstyle.
I mean, Camellia Zhangliao does also do very well though. Like even even if like even the rotation that most people do for Camellia Zhangliao, it's quite good. And yeah, like I don't think Camellia should be in A+. I don't know. And Encore is also very versatile if you just do not run her.
But then
No,
we're gonna end up moving
calculation.
everything to 8S tier again, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And,
right?
these tiers
I
are
don't
close.
think
Don't get me wrong. They're
Like-
close.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of why I want to move Yinlin down to A+ as well. Because
Yeah.
like S tier is too populated and I don't think she has
As
the same
versatile as
potential.
even the rovers.
She doesn't have the same potential as the other characters in S tier.
So where
And
do you
then
want to
there's the
put her
other
in
thing
A
of-
plus?
I would put her.
Because I feel like she's less like versatile than like even Encore.
Yeah, she is.
I
as
think she
versatile
goes
now.
below G. I mean, would she go above Camellia?
I do not think Inlin should go before Camellia. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Honestly, I
Yeah,
think
I think-
Yinlin
I
should
think-
go in A tier because basically every
Hell
team that
no.
you can play with, like let's just look at all the teams that you can play her in at max potential, which is like Yao
Jinshi.
Hyper with her and Jinshi obviously. There's basically always a better alternative to her. Like with Jinshi, there's Jeje, there's Yao, there's Changli, and with Yao, there's again Changli and Jinshi herself and Kalcharu. Like,
And with Yao, there's literally the whole roster who's better.
yeah. So I think because there's always a better alternative to Yinlin, I think she should go into A.
I will not accept that. Like
No,
the
no,
mere
I
fact
think
that she
that's fair
cleared like
enough. No,
3
'cause-
seconds faster than Jeje Jinshi. Like I know like this is like very specific, only one cycle, but like that run is a work of art. The amount of like HA buffers in between and like min maxing to like get the most out of that like rotation. To me it'll be S. Like I will not change my opinion on that, but I can at least agree like at the very least A plus.
Yeah, I think A+
That's like
is fair.
I will not
Mm-hmm.
settle for less.
Like around
fair enough.
around Rochia is fair, I would say.
Okay, we'll leave her right next to Rochelle for now then. Okay, well the next one at least is an easy one, Sanhua.
I think top of S or top of S tier.
Top of
I
S
would say.
easily.
Yeah, top of S,
Yeah.
top of S.
That's free.
And then here's another easy one, Tao Chi. Below Genshin.
No, I don't think so. No.
Above.
Really? You don't think so?
I
No,
think
I
max
think Tao
Yeah, for
Chi
max
with
potential-
R1 Discord with who can just like rotate off cooldown on Carlotta. So I don't think she's that bad at max potential now that
I think at max potential she should be around Ling Yang level. Like she's
I
not
think
that
she's
bad.
higher though, because even okay, like I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased towards her because I've seen some good Tao Chi players.
Can I say
I'll be
something?
Okay,
So
go ahead.
I actually specifically did like Taochi, Jinshi min maxing after I found out about the JJC tech, and actually like that tech speeds up the Taochi's team specifically by like absolutely ridiculous amounts, and I would even dare to say that she is at least B tier, if not A minus tier.
No way.
Yeah, I actually think so because like the rotation is super quick, especially if you play Verena with like Jinchi. Because if you assume like variation, like Verena rotation, like, it's super quick, you obviously just like intro into Tauchi, and then you also do the JJC at the start. It goes so fast. Like, you just do the 3 autos on Tauchi, you swap out, and then do the 3 autos again, and then you're like full concerto.
Y'all ever
Yeah, I
heard of
think-
this thing called bias?
I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, in what
Tauchi-
way though? In this situation?
Like, what's the bias here?
There's no
To me, it's
bias.
B
Like the
tier.
rotation is super fast. Like B or A minus. Like, but she's definitely not C tier.
Yeah,
She's way
yes,
better.
like that's pushing it. Okay, no, it's not pushing it, but it's being fair.
No, I think if you play her at max potential with like all the proper swaps and the Discord R5, I think she is good. Like for what she does for teams, I think she's okay.
Full star is S6R1.
Okay, you know what? No, I do. No, R1 for that's for 5-star weapons. I think R5
And we have
Discord
to
is
reconsider
fair.
everything. Woohoo!
No, but no other character needs a R5 4-star weapon.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
That is true.
But also,
I-
you can actually rotate her with Discord R1, with Carlotta, and still get your ult of cooldown, I think.
Yeah, like it fits into the
So-
25-second rotation, and she does buff Carlotta substantially. So I don't know.
So I think
Even with
just
Discord R1.
okay, you know, I agree that by virtue of being like, of course, at a high level when she's played more efficiently, by virtue of being teammates for like Jinchi, Carlotta, I think B would be fair.
Yeah.
I can agree.
Yeah, B is fair, I think.
Okay, Lumi, she's kind of in the same boat, kind of.
Okay, I have no
Except
clue.
that she doesn't have room for optimization, and she still takes 10 seconds steal
Yeah.
time.
And she
I think
misses half her
it's
attacks.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That character's
Unfortunately, I
ass.
think in this situation, Lumi is actually just worse than Tauchi.
Yeah, I
Because
would
it's like
agree.
I didn't mention this before, and I
Finally.
probably should have. But Lumi has the worst energy generation in the game by a really wide margin, and I have no idea why. It's to the point that if you play her with Carlotta, she increases her regen requirements by like 10%.
Okay,
Which
yo, are
is
we thinking
way
B or
more than
C
most of the
here?
characters.
I'm thinking
I'm
C here. I
putting
don't know about
her
y'all.
either on top of C or below Tauchi. Here
I'm
or
thinking
here.
top C here. I'm thinking top C.
100% C. 100% C. Like
Yeah, I think
she
she's
is
down
like
there.
Tauchi is way better than
I mean,
Lumi.
we are
Yeah, top
considering
of C.
Lumi S6, right?
Yeah, top C is fine to
Yeah.
me.
Should we just decide Tauchi because it's like the same performance with Tauchi and Lumi, right?
No. Tauchi's
that's-
rotation in the specific Jinchi team is 100 times better than Lumi. 100 times.
It's
No, like, I
actually
don't
kind of welcome that she doesn't take like 2 seconds because Jinchi kind of needs the time when you do her jump cancel play.
Like I know they like probably no one here actually tried this, but go and do the Jinchi JJC, do the Tauchi rotation, and then swap to Reno and then go back to Tauchi. The entire rotation goes super fast. Tauchi is actually like underrated in that
very,
team.
very
So,
fast.
if we are putting Lumi down a tier because of the energy issues, Tauchi actually kind of faces the similar issues. She is a bit better, but not enough for it to not matter, I guess. So
Yeah, but that's assuming you build her for damage. Like you can just spam ER on her.
no,
if
I
you, like,
mean
really scale damage.
the fact that she gives less energy to the team.
Mm,
I think maybe the line is just close enough that we should put a bit in the same tier as Tauchi, but below.
I think that's fair
no.
enough. No, I think it
she's
is fair.
worse than Tauchi.
I mean, she is worse than Tauchi, right?
Like
Yeah, she's worse than
significantly
Tauchi at max
worse.
potential, but
Like in what team is Lumi ever like in the same tier as like Tauchi? Like because Tauchi at least has one good team, one.
yeah. I mean, I
she
guess
can go
Carlotta.
with Carlotta.
Yeah.
And we are considering S6, so that is actually quite a significant increase, and she does more damage than Tauchi.
Yeah, so you get more damage, you
yeah.
get the attack buff, and yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, just same as Tauchi, but below. But I think you could make a case for her being above just because she's with Carlotta.
I I'm tempted to put her above Taochi, but I know Selkie will say otherwise.
Hell no. Like, go to the Jinchi
No,
rotation.
okay, but not for
I
Jinchi, for
promise you will be
Carlotta.
very
For
positively.
Carlotta, okay?
Who cares about Carlotta?
Well, Carlotta's here. We even have her higher, so shouldn't her teammate be valued higher?
All right, let's just move
Maygi, you
forward.
ever heard of this thing called bias?
Hey! Okay, fine, we'll move on. Okay, let's just whatever. Chixia, guys, Chixia.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, someone in chat says
it's
10
my
seconds for
time now.
Carlotta isn't enough. It is enough. It just means you have to do Carlotta's skills and then swap out to Lumi. So you go like Lumi, and then you go Carlotta, do her skills, go back to Lumi, finish your thing, go back to Carlotta, instantly start with Forte. And then 10 seconds is more than enough. Just have to change the rotation a bit. Okay, anyways, Chixia.
Okay, but yeah, Chisha is kind of funny. I was doing I actually did calcs on her because I haven't done them before, but I decided to do them today, and I was very saddened by the fact that the damage she does is basically just almost like a third of Carlotta's, which makes sense, but you know, it made me sad. But I think because of how well her cooldowns and Chang-Li's cooldowns line up, and how much use she makes of her outro, she should go into like at least A. I would like to put her in like the bottom of S though.
Wait, Chisha.
Chixia, I feel
Chisha.
Okay, no. Bottom of S. Like,
I feel like close to Yang. No?
yeah, I would put her literally next to Yang Yang actually.
Yeah, around there.
Like below Yang Yang. Like, but
At best, yeah.
Next is Yuan Wu.
we all know where that one
There's,
goes. That's clear.
Yeah.
Below Genshin or above?
I think this is the only character in the game that might be worse than Genshin at like max potential.
Yeah. There is no max potential. His whole selling point is that he has no. It's just you press the thing and that is what it is. That is what it always is. It is not never anything more.
I actually spent like 3 entire days trying to like make Yuan Wu quickswap work. I was very sorely disappointed.
I remember that day. You got him to like level 90, right?
Yeah, I literally leveled him to level 90. I got his Amity Cord or whatever
Oh my
what was
God.
called. Level 90, R5. Like,
The watch, they're gonna make a 5-star defense comp and he's gonna become Giga XD.
Yuan Wu Giga Whale here, Selkie himself. That character is garbage. I'm sorry to all the 2 remaining Yuan Wu mains out there. Sorry to disappoint. Get over it.
Okay, next. Now we're on to the healers. Sharkkeeper. I think we put her in. I think this one is SS. I don't think this one should be a. I feel like there's no case where she's not.
Yeah.
The character that has been on every single team since 1.3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, she
I
does
would
this
have
one
a
for every
very
single.
hard time arguing against that.
I would just put her on the top of the top. Actually, she's just the keystone.
Wait, was there like even like a single run since 1.3 where Verena was faster than Shorekeeper? Like ever?
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
that...
I don't think so. I don't think
Uh,
that was ever a case.
Okay, I will only say one thing. I don't think she is the top of
You don't think
Yeah,
she's not above the time scammers?
I would put her above Carlotta personally, but the reason why I say this, and there is only one reason, I strongly believe that triple DPS as
Is
a
better.
playstyle and as a method is slowly becoming meta with every single new release that they're making, and I think Shorekeeper's value is constantly like dwindling, like
yeah, I
down.
kind of agree with that.
So that's why I believe Zhang Liao is just wholly goated, and
Pretty
Shorekeeper
much.
is still like
She's still-
extremely useful, but not not as useful as like Zhanglia, in my opinion.
Fair. I'll leave Shenlia at the top then.
You.
Goat.
Now we talk about Verena.
Verena,
At S0 R1, I guess she would not be as good.
Yeah, that's the thing, because if we don't have a R3 variation or S2 or both, I would say she's bottom of S tier or top of A+. Like, she is way worse than Shorekeeper in that case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even then, though, it's like, again, back to the triple DPS point. Is her speed even at S2 or 3 or something? Is that speed really enough to compete with triple DPS? Because I don't think it is anymore.
At that point it is. But before that, like before the extra concerto gain from either variation R3 or the S2 or both, like when she has both, I could argue that she is SS tier if she has both of those. But if she doesn't, or she only has one, I would say bottom of S tier or top of A+.
Right, because at that point,
Yeah.
you know, you might as well run Riju Spec Rover and you'll get a lot more damage value out of that as well.
Yeah.
So what are the top of A plus?
Yeah,
top of A plus.
yeah.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Okay, Baizu. Last one, guys. Last one, Baizu.
Oh hell no.
Lol.
Oh hell no.
And
C
here's
tier.
the next C tier character, y'all.
C tier? C tier right above Yonwoo. B?
She's not as bad as
Okay,
Yonwoo.
okay.
She's not as bad as
Okay.
Yonwoo.
I think above Tauchi, maybe.
Above Tauchi?
Possibly. I feel uncomfortable saying that, actually.
No. I feel like she's below
Yeah.
both of them.
Below Linging 100%. After that, it's up for debate.
Sure,
Okay, I was AFK for a bit. Where are we? Baiji. I mean, Baiji is good though. Like, if you're talking max potential, I've seen some good usage of her, especially with her swap-in attack, which does restore a lot of conservator.
Above Tauchi, maybe? That's the most I could do. Egg, you're literally killing me right now, Kim. I'm sorry. I had to use this character to the 1.3. I'm still going to therapy for that. Like,
All right, but I don't think she's that bad. The swap-in attack that we all hate actually does restore a lot of conservator, which can be used in quick swaps. And she does perform fine. It's not great, but I don't know if she's like worse than Lumi or I don't know.
Because, I mean, at the point that she's at, we're kind of weighing her value versus, like, you know, triple DPS, right? Is it worth taking Baizu over taking, like, you know, anyone in between?
Yeah, like,
I
if
think Tauchi
Verena's
is
losing value
better.
because of that, then Baiju's losing even more.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think Tauchi is better than Baiji. I think Baiji is better than Lumi, though. That's my opinion.
Well, I guess we just leave her down here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. for that.
Okay, so here is our max potential finished tier list that kind of somehow evolved into a semi speedrun, but not really tier list. I mean, okay, again, how else do you freaking frame this? Okay,
Let me just again.
It was more just like a discussion of characters
speedruns.
at their max
Mhm.
potential.
Yeah, I don't think this. Okay, can we just go around and like see if we want to do like revisions to this? Because I have a few.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I'm personally like still a bit like not 100% happy with the tier list, but like that's still just my personal opinion.
I'm also
I
not
mean,
happy
okay,
with it.
let's go around and let's nitpick. Okay, who wants to start?
I'll start. This tier list has no clear criteria to it. I don't understand why Camellia was graded on the fact that like she's not flexible and like we're not basing stuff on clear times, and then we started basing stuff on clear times afterwards.
For Camellia, I
Weren't
think
we
when we
always
were
basing on clear times?
when we were talking about flexibility, it's less about like flexibility into different team comps, but more flexibility within her own rotation. You know.
Okay, sure, I get that, but like we're making those arguments, and then we're looking at clear times for every other character. But if we look at Camelia's clear times, she's S tier.
I can.
Yeah, I agree.
Kinda
Camellia
agree on
being
that.
We've been
towards the
looking at
dungeon
tier
is a
for
bit
everyone else.
Yeah,
good,
I can accept that. She probably could move up a tier if we take versatility out of the question. I could agree with that.
I mean, even if we consider versatility, it's not like dungeon is versatile as
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
That's why she's saying A plus, but like
Yeah.
Camellia, which is going by clear times alone,
Yeah,
Camelia's S tier.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like even I talked about this, but the clear time thresholds right now actually kind of favor her quite a bit. And I don't think
We're not
Haley-
taking that into account. I'm completely excluding that.
Okay, sure, well, why not? But yeah, like Camellia behind dungeon is a bit weird for me. I would
Yeah,
say.
we
Also,
can move it
ano-
up to bottom first. in my
Another
opinion.
thing though is that if we take versatility and like CD gates and all that out of the question and only look at clear times, then I think GN should also move up to S tier then with Camellia. Because even though he hasn't had a tower buff that favors him in forever, he can still clear really fast in 1.5 rotations with more Tefi. Like you lose out 4 seconds where you could
We
be
actually
like
just don't have defined criteria over this. You know, I was talking like earlier with like near the beginning of the stream. You know, we were talking about what makes a good tier list. We need to have like very specific criteria for. I mentioned that. It feels like this tier list really doesn't have much of it. Am I the only one with that sentiment? Like we've been kind of going with the flow a bit much, and then it's transformed into stuff that we don't agree with.
I
Yeah.
think
what you're
the
saying, but I think honestly, I think this has just been more of a discussion, and I'm okay with it being like that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, but
like
it's not really
we
a tier list
basically
anymore,
already
is
did
it?
the important tier list.
I would not want
It's
to
not a
take
tier list
this
anymore,
and
is it?
post it on Reddit and say, hey, this is what I think, you know, this is what we think as a group, this is what we can agree on. No, absolutely not. Although I say that, but I bet some people are probably already screenshotting it and just passing it around, you know.
Basically,
Maygi
I
tier
don't
list?
think this tier list is accurate though. Like
I
there
feel
is
like
a
this
lot
tier
of
list holds very little meaning. Am I the only one with that sentiment?
No, I don't feel that
No.
great about this either, you know, just looking
I
at
mean,
this.
why would SK be below Zhanglia though? Like, I know the triple WS thing is there, but it's not like that profound right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we can argue that SK is above Junk. So that's fair.
Yeah, but
I don't
we
have
are talking about at the moment stuff, right?
Yeah, then that's fair. Like, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, we can move SK to the top. Like, that's fine.
And
yeah, sure, that's
similarly,
fine.
Verena should not be that low. Like, I don't think Verena is 2 tiers below SK in this.
Someone says
scenario.
very clearly in chat there was inconsistency in grading from character to character. That is absolutely true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's why we're adjusting
Yeah, that's
it.
fair. That's
Like,
fair.
Because a
That's why
lot of
we're
the
doing
early
it.
characters we dropped in here, we kind of were like, okay, let's just drop it here and kind of like figure out where everyone else is in comparison.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like as we went along, we kind of made up our mind, so to speak.
Mhm.
And the second thing I want to talk about this is that we did not come here thinking about a particular criteria in mind. It's just on the fly, and I don't think it's very easy for 5 people to decide on, I don't know how many tiers are there, 7 tiers, and how to separate them that easily. So I don't
Yeah.
think this is gonna be that good of a tier list anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's not very representative of like anything substantial.
Yeah, it's more.
like-
We were talking about the strengths of the character. I think that's a lot more interesting than this tier list.
It's not. This is not like a
We were just
definitive
using-
strength of. Yeah.
And also, then you start asking questions about, is Estrover really that good compared to like Gian, Camellia?
Right.
And that's not,
Right. Yeah, at that point it becomes very like convoluted because then you would have to like shuffle stuff around. But then, yeah, it's hard.
I would say, like, obviously no offense, but I would say that tier list is like mostly a failure. Like, I don't know.
No, I mean, I
mean,
think
like,
it's kind of rigged.
Yeah.
Like I said before,
Okay.
this was mostly
Seriously.
just a vehicle for conversation. And
Yeah.
I think we're thinking too much about the tier list being good and less about like the discussion, because I think people have just been enjoying the discussion.
I'm
Yeah, I
going
think
to be
that-
completely honest.
I
I feel
would
like the
say-
casual tier list held some meaning. This one, much less.
I would say the
Yes,
casual
yes,
tier list
yes.
was even worse though. Like, I quite did not like it. It was we were just talking about what would a casual do other than and not what is the character strength in a casual setting. It was
So-
like, okay,
Yeah.
will
I said
this?
it though. It's just the most important cancels are being factored in and nothing else. I did
Yeah,
say
but
that.
we do not know what important cancels are, right?
I did
Are we
define it. I defined it as something very lengthy, like Encore's Forte.
Yeah, but
very
like we
cute,
were
like,
considering
okay,
SK cancels.
Okay, but
And-
then, like, just one counter argument. Kalcharo Death Messengers are very lengthy animations as well. So why wouldn't we consider that for the casuals? Like, you know, and it's
How lengthy? Do you have frame data? I don't have it in mind.
1.6 seconds.
Anything
that's-
anything below 2 is.
You know what
anything below
else
2
is
not high,
1.6
it's high.
seconds? Chun-Li skill.
Anything below
Ooh.
2 seconds is too tight to me for casuals.
Okay.
And there is another thing I wanted to point out in the casual tier list is that I think we were just pretending to know what casuals do. Like
No,
a
dude,
lot of them-
casual is such a freaking. It's a huge umbrella. Okay, some people,
Yeah.
you know, some people say like, you know, the rotations that I put on my guides are too casual. You know,
I had a very clear definition of it. I don't know why y'all forgot about that. Like in the
No,
beginning of
but-
the stream, I had a very clear definition of what we were going off of.
we were talking about obvious swaps and obvious cancels, right? But
Yeah.
whatever, a lot of obvious cancels and obvious swaps were not being included.
Yeah, because it's
And-
below 2 second windows.
Yeah, so
That's
are
what we
we
were going
accounting
off
for
of.
Rocha as like quick swap then? Because that's an above fucking 2 second window. We know that's the
Oh,
funniest
yeah.
part. We're actually doing
the
Rocha quick
exact
swap with
time to
casuals?
be
Hell,
revised,
that's
I
never
guess.
happening.
no, we were saying
never
Rocha
happening.
on field. Rocha just was 0 to 100 on field for casual, weren't we?
Yeah. So what if and 1 through 2, 3 tier lists? Like that is not very useful for anything, right? Like people can
not?
glance at it.
Casuals are doing that.
I
like a
get
lot of
it,
casual
but
people are doing that.
casuals are doing that, but it's not like if the casual player wants to learn more, then that tier list just becomes like obsolete right away.
Like I
So
said
you-
at the beginning of the stream, you can't make a tier list that caters to everyone, and we agreed that the best kind of tier list we could make for casuals is someone who's looking to, get into trying to optimize their gameplay. They're like getting introduced to it. We agreed on that in the beginning of the stream. How has
Yeah,
that been
if they're
forgotten?
trying to optimize the gameplay, right? We are not
They're
actually.
introduced into it. They're introduced into it. Very
Yeah,
different.
If you're introducing them to the optimization, then we have to think about some swaps, right? You cannot just.
We have to think about the most essential ones, like Encore's Forte. Yes, we're doing that.
Onco's
We're doing the
Forte is
very,
not-
very lengthy ones. Nothing else. That's
You
what we
actually
agreed on.
tell people to use Encore's Forte in real life, though.
Yeah, I'm not going
true.
to suggest Onco's Forte to anybody. So in that sense, I think both of them lack direction. I was not much of a fan, but again, it's no
I
offense.
had
I guess.
direction. I had a very clear vision. in mind.
I think
I laid it out too.
I think whatever. Well, I'll just say I think whatever we have for the casual tier list probably makes more sense than whatever we have
Yes,
here.
100%,
I don't even know what we have here anymore. Kind of. I mean, we had a discussion. Okay, we had a discussion.
Meiji, I'll say something. You tell me if you agree on this. I feel like you really haven't been giving like your own takes on this much, especially this tier list. I feel like it's been everyone else and not you. Am I like crazy for that?
No, I can agree on that.
Yeah, I would agree on that too. Cause you guys are getting all passionate about talking about your speed run and time and stuff, But as you know, I don't do like speed run stuff. I like to optimize rotations, but I don't do specifically speed run chasing. In a lot of contexts, I just make rotations that are like, okay. So what I do in my TC is I make rotations that are loopable for long term. It doesn't. But meanwhile, something might die in like 1.5 rotations. Obviously, something that, maybe this other team fits in 2 rotations and finishes right at the end of its burst versus a different one that does not, So like the criteria that I use for my numbers is very much different than what you guys are doing, which is why I feel like I didn't have that much to talk over you guys for this one.
I feel
Okay,
like,
but-
honestly, Meiji, I feel like both you and I have way more input to give on casual tier lists than this one. as a Pride 1cc and you as a content creator, we're doing stuff that caters more towards a bigger audience. This was probably just not fit for our opinions in the first place.
Uh,
I just want to say one thing
Oh.
about the current tier list that we have. Like, I personally like it, but there is one big problem with the definition of max potential.
Yep.
And that's the actual amount of nuances that this tier list has ingrained in it. Because, like, for example, I think Encore is a really, really great example. Because Encore is like one of those characters that really scale with like the amount of dodges that she can fit into a rotation. So, like, how do we even account for that? Because the difference between some bosses and like the dodges they provide for Encore is so gigantic, and that
Right.
like I remember that one cycle, and I think it was 1.2 or 1.1. I'm not sure which one it was, but she was like, the I think it was the Scar boss. She was actually outperforming like Jian like easily. By a fairly large margin, I think like 2 seconds, and that's because like Scar just gave her so many dodges, so she could keep spamming her BA3, BA4 to just nuke him out of existence. So it's just like too many nuances for each of the characters to really make like a definitive statements that they are always in one tier, because depending on the boss, they may also like largely vary, and also TA buffs, also elemental disadvantages nowadays. It's very, very hard to really make a clear statement. This character is always in this tier and always this level of good. We have to make too many exceptions and consider too many things to truly do that. And then it gets like, inaccurate, and it's unfortunate. But I mean, we're trying our best. I think a lot of us are definitely putting in a lot of thought into our ratings. However, they're just not ultimately universally generally applicable.
Yeah.
Also, I think, okay, so one more thing that was wrong with the tier list is that it became like the tiering became, okay, I like Zhang Liao because of this points, and that's why he's high tier, and not much like in comparison to other units. A lot of time, and sometimes it was in comparison to other units. Like, why was Verena like A+, I think? So
Yeah, she was in a plus.
it was kind of weird like that, and yeah, like tier lists are not easy. I would usually when I do tier lists, I would just make a joke tier list, or I would make, okay, this is what I personally think of.
Right. No, because they tier lists just make no sense. The context is impossible to have in a standardized format.
Yeah.
But we tried.
Like
we
I said at the
tried.
beginning.
And anytime if anyone ever references that whatever abomination we made before, they would say, "Oh, why is X better than X?" It always comes down to that. Well, so we had a quote unquote max potential. We had a very casual. Someone wanted to just see my take on it for like my based on like my rotations and stuff. So since I didn't get to put that much info for the last one, I'm going to throw together a tier list right now. Okay, just me. I'll throw this together. I don't like making tier lists, okay? But I'll throw it together based on that. Okay.
Get ready for the screenshots, chat.
I'll make it fast, okay?
I'm getting my popcorn.
I'll make a new tier called I'll make another tier over here that's question mark for things that I don't have expertise on myself. Like Auto, I have not crunched Auto myself, so
All the male characters go in that one.
hey, not all of them, okay? I'll make this fast. Okay, this is for average play, okay?
Yeah, just go for it. Just like zoom through.
I'm just gonna zoom.
Yeah, just zoom through. Just do it. Wow, one male character, 2 male characters actually.
Two male characters, it's crazy.
You're kidding.
No, I'm leaving Gian next to Encore, okay? Why are there 2 Jinchis here, man? Average. I mean, I would say that average. Average, not 100% like all critic swap, but if Chummy can be played to some decent level of swapping, like not hard casting any skills and stuff. I would put all of these together. I would put this Surekeeper right here. Yohu is Yohu. No, I'm putting Lumi in V, guys. Screw that. No, Lumi is great. Yeah. Lumi is great.
I would like
I
to
just-
point out there is no such thing as bias in this world.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanna
Mhm.
say that it's been really fun, but I have to leave now. So
yeah,
thank you
okay.
very much
I think
for...
we're pretty much done here. We're just wrapping up.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right, all right.
basically.
Well,
Oh, so we aren't doing Whimpering Waves?
Oh,
not now.
wait,
I think it's too late for
wait.
that.
Okay, you know what? I think I could say wait till another day. I think this has been going on long
Yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, we've been here for a
It's
while.
like 3
so-
a.m. here right now.
We can actually do something different and not focus on tier lists and just talk about units that we like, and that I think that would be a better and more constructive conversation than.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I personally don't like tier lists that much for a lot of reasons,
I
but
fucking hate them, man. They
But
don't make
anyway,
Why are
sense.
we doing this? Like,
I thought we could try it. Okay, dude, it's trendy.
No,
People love
it
tier lists.
was-
Okay, people love tier
Content
lists.
farming.
Again, you guys are thinking too much about it. It's just a vehicle for conversation, and I think we were
Exactly.
successful here.
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah, but
Okay.
I think we could just focus on the conversation without thinking. Okay,
Without the tier
this should
list,
be
okay.
A plus.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
It should be
totally
all-
down to host this again. It's just a roundtable. No tier list. Screw the tier list. That's tier list bad. Okay. Well, we could go again some other time. Because from what I've seen in the comments, a lot of people really did enjoy the discussion. So I think in that case, in that regard, it was a success. Because we
Oh, we
certainly
should do
got
it
a
like
lot.
a week after brand release or something.
Yeah, we could try to go again for that, and we'll talk about whimpering wives or whatever after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, the mood I hate.
All right, GG's everyone.
Okay, thank you everyone for participating. So everyone, the links to the YouTube channels of all the participants who have YouTube channels anyway are in the YouTube description. Make sure to check them out. They're all cool. Again, thank you everyone for your time and dealing with the scuff for however long and the DCs and whatever. I think it was fun. I think we got a lot of good discussion out. Yeah.
Thank you, Meiji, for inviting me. It means a lot.
Yeah, okay, bye everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
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 And now that I have left them all, now I can talk to you guys about my totally not biased tier list, okay? Totally not biased, 100% legitimate tier list. Okay, here, let me explain to you the reasoning. Okay, actually, no, I changed my mind. Okay, well, I already made it, so, for casual tier list, Surekeeper obviously is Surekeeper. Carlotta is Carlotta, highest DPS by a very high margin, okay? Because this is my own tier list based on my own calculations, I can give you some numbers here. Carlotta teams are pulling about, okay, hang on, let me pull up my numbers. Carlotta is pulling like 60k DPS. And by DPS, I mean DPS over a 2-minute rotation, which no content in the game is gonna take 2 minutes. But if someday they make a Super Bowl that takes 2 minutes, yeah, I got you, okay? Also, new players who are going for their first 30 out of 30, they are probably taking the full 2 minutes, which is where the 2 minutes came from in the first place. Jinshi good for casuals, nothing wrong there. Sanhua, again, fast rotation, good damage, works great with a ton of characters. A tier is where I threw everything in that's pretty decent. Yeah. No strings attached, okay, everything here that's pretty good. Baby's pretty good, She's also pretty cute. I think by cute alone, we should probably move her up. Is there value in thinking about ranking characters on the difference in power between casual floor and max gameplay? And the difference of power, like for how hard something is to play. No, you could definitely do something like that for like characters. I mean, we could do that right now. We'll do that right now. Is Yinlin that bad as a limited character? The reason I have Yinlin, I mean, okay, technically speaking, if you do like a super convoluted rotation, you could get Yinlin's damage to be pretty good. Like Yinlin Jinchi on my sheet is like, hang on, have I even rerun this? It performs very similarly to Jojo at this level, okay? So, I say similarly, but it's like a lot more jank than the Jojo rotation. She's in Ningyancher. Okay, you know what? I'm looking at this again, and why? How the F did this dude squeeze up there? I'm moving him down, man. Aren't the tier lists supposed to represent pull value? I mean, okay, if it's pull value, then all of a sudden stuff like all the main DPS would be high, and stuff like Rosha would go down. You know? Okay, you know what? This list is scuffed. We gotta restart. Okay, let's try again, guys. Let's try again. We'll try again. We'll try to have a clear... Let's have a clear standard for what the F this is about, okay? Okay. But this will be easy if we make it, how about investment value? Okay, how worth to invest, okay? Or how about value per investment, okay? So something like that. Okay, value per investment, that means that something that requires little investment would be pretty high because you don't have to invest in them. Actually, but value per investment might also you might also think of that as like how much it is value to invest in something. So let's say something like Sanhua, right? Whose investment value is a difference of probably a maximum of about 10 to 15% of team DPS, you know? But I've been meaning to say that, you know, let's put her high because you don't need to invest much to get most of her power. But is that... Okay, how about an easier tier list to do? I'm actually not a fan of Camellia that much. Jojo is a nerd. I think we would get along pretty well. Tachi, Lumi cute. Ankara cute. Okay, how about this? We have a clearly defined thing for the tier list, right? I don't know, guys. My taste might be a bit different than yours, you know? And, I mean, you know the reason why I always default to these meme tier lists? You know, there's a very important reason. Is because I feel like every time I try to do a tier list, I realize that it's near impossible to put like a non-subjective value on characters. Especially in the gacha space where everyone wants to see their waifu do good, you know? There's a reason, that's why tier lists always spark discussion. I've never really wanted to make a real tier list because it doesn't make sense. You just cannot. You literally cannot. There's too much criteria, you know? There's way too much, and there's no way to properly encapsulate it. But you know what you can have? You can have an objective tier list about who your favorite characters are, you know? And that's why we always go back to this, you know? And yes, when people are talking about speedruns and stuff, you know, it changes a lot depending on what boss you fight, how much HP it has. The fact that characters can perform so vastly different, like even based on your builds, okay? I've run a lot of competitions for like speedruns for under various restrictions. And like if you looked at the mono elements challenge I ran a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago. A lot of people ran a Carlotta Judge Sanhua or something like that, or vice. And they're all pretty similar, right? Most of them did 2 rotations, which was a little unoptimal because you would kill the boss at about the 2nd rotation, right? At the start of the burst. But then some comps would be, they would realize that they kill the boss at the start of the 2nd burst. So they changed the rotation to do like an unbuffed liberation at the start. So they finish so they cycle around and then finish after the first buffed rotation. And then you have some people like Yumi, he one-cycled it. And that's, you know, another big difference, right? So the thing with like clear time, it's just, and like, you know, everyone was mentioning like C and echoes and stuff. It's because again, it's just a really big deal about things dying in one or 2 rotations or whatever. Why does it have to be a tier list? It doesn't. And I think in retrospect, I think tier lists, I think it was a bad idea. I think the podcast was a success, but I think the idea of making a tier list was a big miss. Like you guys saw, I was just sitting there in silence, staring at them put together the quote-unquote maximum potential tier list. Because I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, you know, none of this makes sense. I was like getting to the point where it's like, I just wanna throw this to the side and start some other topic, you know? Because, again, our criteria was so all over the place that even at the end, we didn't even know. We didn't even know what our own criteria was, you know? It's content, okay, right? It's content. So, yeah. Take it for what it is. I definitely think we could do this again and just have it based on discussion. I think the discussion is always nice, you know? No, I thought we would be able to wing it in the discussion, honestly, but you really can't, you know? Conclusion! What makes a good tier list? Nothing. Tier lists suck ass. You cannot represent whatever you're trying to represent. Like, yeah, our casual tier list was not whatever clearly represented. Our max potential tier list was all over the place, you know. You know, again, I can do a tier list with my math alone based on the rotations that I have alone. That's doable. Like, something like that is doable. I have numbers to explain my points. But a lot of the discussion we were going to today it was less about numbers and more about just what works well in speedruns, you know. But yeah, I think we had some interesting things to talk about today anyway. So, Speaking of numbers, I've been spending a lot of time working on my calculator recently, and I'm working on character sheets, and I've been making amazing progress there, and I want you guys to know that we'll be continuing to populate the rest of the character sheets, and we'll work on brand in this coming week, okay? So I have plenty of work in this week ahead, but I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of scuffed, off the road discussion. I thought it was definitely an interesting form of content to try. I mean, yes, there's definitely value in tier lists, you know. As someone who's clueless, to have just some rough idea of how good a character is, right? But it never really makes sense for people to follow it any closer than that, you know? Like, imagine you see, like, Sanhua in S tier, and then you, like, group her with, I don't know, Jinchi or something, you know? You're like, oh, I've just picked all the S tier characters. How come my damage is ass? Is Snapshot Adin and Rua? No. All the calculations are done live. Your buffs drop off in the middle of your thing, and then the damage will change. But yeah, now the biggest question regarding the upcoming character Brand, am I gonna pull for him? I mean, you could try him for free right now. I could technically go fling him in the story and get the footage, and I never need to pull for him, right? Right. I never need to pull for him. I can save my pulls for someone more important. You really want me to pull for a D tier, a dude tier character? Oh, that would mean doing the story. Oh, god dang it. I'm pretty sure I'm still on 2.0 story. Oh god, I'm still on 2.0 story! Oh man. A story stream? I don't know about that one, guys. No, we need to do the math. Wait. Oh wait, how do we do the math? I can't pull. Wait, how soon in the story do you get to play him? I'm at the Rosha. I'm at the part where you try Rosha. That's where I stopped. How far do I have to go to try Rant? You have the fish to play Rant! I am so far. I don't like to hear that, guys. I know fishing is fun, but like, let's say I want to do Dairycraft next stream, you know? Okay, fine. We'll freaking fish next stream. Okay, I mean, I like fishing too, but if I have a stream that I want to do numbers on, but you know, I can't do numbers. I have to fish instead, you know? I mean, we could do the numbers without... Guys, wait, how long from zero fishing to playing Rant? How long is it? Far. Really? Like 2 hours far? Or like 3 hours far? Or what? Decently long. 4 hours? What the F? Maybe I'll just do fish. I'll start fishing tonight, guys. I'll start fishing tonight so we could do numbers some other time. think about it. Okay, it'll be on whatever it is. It'll be on Wednesday. Okay, we'll do fishing or we'll do pre-setup in the setup in the spreadsheet. Just pull brands. No, dude, I need to get the numbers in before brand is out. Okay, anyways, we'll figure that out when we get to it, okay? Anyways, I think we wrap things up for here. I hope people didn't screenshot the tier lists because, oh boy, yeah. Hey guys, do me a favor. If you see anyone screenshotting the tier list and posting them, tell them that it's a bunch of gobbledygook, okay? But actually, maybe don't tell them that, because that would make everyone think we're crazy, you know? Tell them that we just... Too many cooks in the kitchen, we overcooked, okay? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Wait, did they already post that on Reddit? No way, no they didn't. No they didn't, hang on. Reddit's Wuthering Waves. No, we have a tier list. Not today. We tracked this out for too long. Okay, well I don't see it. Okay, good. I don't see it. At least I don't see it. It's not anywhere. I better not see that anywhere, okay guys? I better not see it anywhere. I don't think it was good. I'm not happy with it. We all cooked different meals in the same pot. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Okay, anyways. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Oh wait, we should find somebody to raid out to. Okay, let's see who else is streaming. Who else is playing Wuthering Waves? Wuthering Waves. Let's go ahead and raid a new player. Okay, let's raid a new player. Okay guys, we'll see you next time. We'll see you on probably Wednesday, okay? Make sure you copy pasta this thingy, okay? And yeah. Check out the DPS calculator if you haven't already. It's really cool, okay? It's so cool. It has character sheets in there, which I think is immensely cool. I worked really hard on it, okay? Yeah. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hang on, if I wave, will it make me stand up? I'm pretty sure it will. Hang on. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh my god, there's still a cut! There's a literal cut! Okay, whatever.